The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, Honey Bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
Loved you from the first time you called me lame. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah, always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah, with you the summer came and went in a day, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget, and I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah. Woo! When you're miles away, yeah, you can make it shine when the whole world rains. Always on my mind, always in my brain. With you the days are long and the nights are late, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Ooh, and I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget, and I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah. Forget anyway, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, Honey Bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
Yeah. Loved you from the first time you called me lame. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah. Always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah. With you the summer came and went in a day. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. When you're miles away, yeah. You can make it shine when the whole world rains. Always on my mind, always in my brain. With you the days are long and the nights are late. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Ooh, and I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. Forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, honey bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Land of the Dawn. We are the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, and today is Season 1, Week 4, Day 3, King of the Hill. What is that exactly? Well, it's super simple. The rules are first come, first serve, best of one, winning team stays on every Monday and Wednesday from 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And today, fresh in Match 1, we have Dark Immortals versus Blacklist International, the Americanized version, a team that we've kind of seen sneak up last week and kind of dominate. But Dark Immortals is one of those vets inside of the MLSA, definitely going to be a challenge to go into, and I'm excited to see what both teams are going to bring to the table today. Alongside me, I am going to be casting with Coach Deku for today's match, so definitely some things to look forward to as we progress during King of the Hill.
Absolutely, there Weezy, and some things we're going to look forward to in between these two teams. You already pointed out, right? Dark Immortals, one of those consistent teams out here in the MLSA, veterans of sorts, been here since the opening. Blacklist International, the name is new. But the players here in North America are. They did just compete for the first time yesterday, and we've seen a strong showing from them, quickly showing that they do have what it takes to come out here and compete. But it does look like there's a couple new, potentially some newer players out there for Blacklist tonight. So already with a couple roster changes ahead of tonight's match. But speaking of rosters, we have entered into the draft, and the first pick from Dark Immortals, something we've seen them play quite a bit, is that Cho in the first pick on that blue side of this phase of the draft.
Yeah, looking at the draft, you are seeing OSIM kind of lock in that Cho nice and early, but with picking up Cho, you allow a lot of meta picks onto the hands of Blacklist. You're going to allow that Carmilla to walk. Definitely slotted with the swiftness over there by Akihiko. And then also Brookie's over there with the Valentina, that hero that can kind of steal anybody's ultimate with that IMU and make you pay for it. So now this is going to force the side of Dark Immortals to kind of draft a little bit safely, as you don't want to give that Valentina some meta picks for those ultimates.
Definitely don't want to give Valentino's ultimates. But speaking of ultimate, Shadowkey locking in that Beatrix, right? And we spoke on it a lot. One of the top picks in the MLSA, not only as a gold laner, but across the board, able to get it done, getting these wins, a nice boost, a nice increase to your odds of winning when you slap that Beatrix in. And with all those ultimates, like you said, four of them coming in from Shadowkey, a lot of utility, a lot of versatility for Beatrix to get done as far as damage output on the side of Dark Immortals. But speaking of damage, another pick that's been rising in the MLSA, the carry, has been slotted in more often than not now, starting up this weekend, will be taken in the first phase by Blacklist International here. So they're looking to bring in some true damage and true pain to Dark Immortals ahead of this match.
Now, looking at the match from both sides, I'm liking the way the draft is kind of going, right? On the side of Dark Immortals, you locked in that Beatrix, one of those marksmen we more commonly see for the MLSA, a marksman who has a lot of versatility in the kit. You have that shotgun, that sniper, the submachine gun, and also the rocket launcher when things get a little bit tricky. Looking at the Lilia, that guaranteed early game damage. Now we know Beatrix kind of scales through time. Good from the beginning all the way to the late game. And Lilia kind of to strengthen the progression for the early game on the side of Dark Immortals. Looking at the Cho, a strong pick as well with that Way of the Dragon, able to displace multiple hero, not multiple heroes, but a single hero where you want them to be, and pretty much a potential pickoff for the team. Now looking at the side of Blacklist, right? They have that Carmilla, that Curse of Blood, able to stun a full team and stack that damage chained on all of them. And then you also have that Valentina to kind of steal some ultimates. But the question is, what ultimates are the side of Dark Immortals going to allow? Maybe the Way of the Dragon might come out. You can use the Black Shoes to kind of escape. So it's not really the worst skills to kind of take from the opposing side, but then you're guaranteeing that late game damage over there with that carry, those speedy light wheels. We know carry takes a little bit of time to rev up, maybe need a little bit more protection, especially going up against Beatrix in the early game, but when it gets to the late game mark, you are going to see carry get online and possibly be able to close out this game. And the question is, how will Dark Immortals respond? Are they going to kind of gank this carry, deny that carry be in that late game marksman by getting some pickoffs nice and early? Maybe one of those keys to victories that we talked about. But speaking of keys to victory, Lawrence Supremacy is going to go ahead and lock in that Ruby.
Locking in that Ruby and locking in an incredible amount of CC for the side of Blacklist. So you can see right now, right, has a strong team fight presence, especially with the Carmilla, obviously geared right away, leaning towards those team fights. Not really something strong in that pick-off category like we're seeing from the side of Blacklist, but once the teams start grouping up, once the team fights start increasing and escalating as we transition into that mid and late game, Carmilla definitely comes online with those links. And the same with Ruby, feeling offended by anything, as she will be throwing out those hooks to try to secure multiple members of Dark Immortals here. But speaking of secure, Karina being locked in from the side of Dark Immortals over there to secure some of those kills. The Shadow Assault in play, Assassin in, and it looks like it might be facing up against a carry in the jungle right now. We are seeing that Retribution on carry. Didn't see that earlier, didn't get to mention it, but that will be a little difficult. Now, when you have that Retribution forced in on your marksman, that means there's no escape, no mobility spells, right? So no sprint, no flicker, and then nothing like a purify. And with that YZ being picked up by Franco over here by the side of Dark Immortals, it's going to be very hard to find that spacing, to find that opening to step forward in these team fights. I mean, there's a Cho, and like I said, the Lilia over there with the glooms, you know, once the Ice Queen comes out, a lot of slow, and then, you know, like I said, with the YZ, with this Petrify, Carry gonna have a hard time trying to secure any neutrals, or even to make it through in these fights. But actually they swapped it. Carmilla has now picked up the Retribution, so a wise decision from the side of Blacklist. But now the drafts are complete, Wheezy, and we are starting to head over to the loading screen. Give me a quick rundown, man. Who do you think is edging this out as far as the compositions go?
Ooh, looking at both of these lineups so far, right? It's interesting. You have the Carmilla in the jungle. It works. Going up against that Karina too. It's going to be an interesting match. You're seeing that damage Karina versus more of that beefier Carmilla. But looking at both the drafts, you have guaranteed early game from the Lilia, and you have late game over there from the Beatrix. So I'm kind of leaning... Oh, this is a tricky one. I will say only because of the wild card with Blacklist Sai picking up that Sylvana. A little bit of catching me off guard, but just because we haven't seen it before doesn't mean it doesn't work. But if I have to go with my gut and go with more picks that I've seen that have a higher chance of success, I'm definitely picking the side of Blacklist. Or actually, no, Dark Immortals. Dark Immortals, because Blacklist has the Sylvana. So yeah, Dark Immortals takes my vote on that one. What about you, Deku? Who you voting for?
I'm feeling confident in Dark Immortals as well. They have a comfort, right? They locked the Cho first, which isn't typical of most teams, but it is a typical pickup for them. They like to get the Cho in their hands. We know they also like to get the Valentina, but it was picked up in response by Blacklist, but not something that they're unfamiliar with playing into. They also didn't pick up anything, if I recall correctly, on the composition as far as their draft, really to give anything to Valentina. What they had, the Beatrix, the Cho, the Karina, the YZ. I'm trying to think. What was one other pick? I think there's another pick there. I'm forgetting. It's a gray area, but nothing really available for the IMU to really go insane with as far as utility. I mean, yeah, you take away a dragon, but again, we've spoken on this before. It's kind of a set ultimate, set utility, and with Valentina, you're still a mage, so to be able to get in and land those Way of the Dragons are going to put you at great risk as the mage for the side of Blacklist. So I feel like Dark Immortals played well in the draft, and I feel like their pick-off composition, it does suit them. We have seen them typically play it, and as long as they execute on those win conditions and don't get forced into any team fights, or able to maybe create a little bit of a lead in that early game for this Karina, they can definitely take out Blacklist International before they can hit those power spikes, pick up those items, and get into those team fights that they're definitely going to be looking to take up against Dark Immortals.
Yeah, you make some valid points over there. Speaking of that, Valentina, you know, the ultimates that she has at her disposal right now, like you said, the Yuzong with the Way of the Dragon. They have Karina on their team. Not really seeing that Shadow Assault being one of the prio ultimates. They have Beatrix, a couple different weapon types to kind of choose from. And then they have Jay with the Black Shoes for a little bit of escape. And then they have the Way of the Dragon that Valentina can grab as well. But like we said, these are not the strongest ultimates to kind of pull for a Valentina. So, looks like a little bit of a possible, they need a reset. It looks like Carmilla picked up the wrong emblem. So we are gonna
I was gonna point that out earlier. She did pick up the Avarice. I did think that was interesting. I wasn't sure if that was on purpose or not. Going into the jungle, thought maybe a mistake. Because they initially weren't the jungler, right? It looked like they were the roam. And I think maybe they forgot to switch to go for the jungle talent, that jungle emblem, it's a Monster Hunter, I believe.
Yeah.
Monster Warfare. So yeah, might have been a bit of a misplay from the side of Blacklist. I'm assuming we're gonna replicate the same draft and just make sure that emblem is corrected if I'm making the assumption there correctly.
Yeah, we're gonna restart it. A little bit of a error on their side, but we'll get right back into it shortly. It is gonna be the same picks from both sides to continue this match. Like we said with that Valentina, I'm really wondering. It's gonna be a huge factor with what the Valentina is able to do, because not having the easiest ultimates to get online with is gonna make it a little bit of a upscale battle. So I'm excited to see how it goes, going forward for the side of Blacklist. But while we are waiting, ladies and gentlemen, this is King of the Hill. All of these teams are competing today in a best of one, and the winner stays on. And the goal is to stay on as long as you can and take out as many squads as you can as well. A little bit of a throwback to what the rules are. First come, first serve, best of one. Winning team stays on every Monday and Wednesday from 8 p.m. Eastern time. So, like I said, we got a show today with Dark Immortals and Blacklist kind of starting it off a little bit edgy on their picks so far. So we are going to have to wait for them to ready up. But I got to say, how do you kind of feel about Blacklist so far as we've seen them kind of compete since last week in the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy?
Definitely a strong team to compete with, and I'm not sure if there are roamers out there. Like I did see some. I don't know if it's a roster swap or if we're just seeing some name changes. We did see that Oh My Venus player from the side of Blacklist, and definitely sticking into the support picks for the side of Blacklist, living up to the name of a Venus and somewhat living up to the performance of Venus for this team, able to secure some victories. Not a complete storm, not a complete force that we've seen some of the other newer teams like, Demigods or a team like Novacore, but a team nonetheless that showed up to compete, and I'm kind of getting it done inside of these matches, inside of their recent showings. Like you mentioned, since they are a newer team, they have proven that they are able to keep up and compete with the teams in MLSA, and it'll be interesting to see them tonight, going up against Dark Immortals, one of those OG teams, I guess you could say. Like I said, have been here since we've opened the MLSA about 4 weeks ago, about a month, right? It was a month that we've been opened up for the MLSA now. Time flies and we're having fun over here as we are closing out that first month. But yeah, man, Blacklist International coming out. I do expect them to put up a good, decent fight, good showing, and potentially even win this match up against Dark Immortals. Definitely no joke for a new team.
Something I noticed by Blacklist International right now? They don't have Venus on their side this time around. Venus is not in this game, so this is going to be a slightly different lineup than what we're used to seeing. I think Brookie's correct me if I'm wrong, might be one of the new members that we're actually seeing today kind of perform on the side of Blacklist. Also on the side of Dark Immortals, a little bit of a newer lineup as well. So with new things on the board, that creates new opportunity and new things for us to watch. So I know I'm excited for both of these teams going forward, but like you said, there can only be one winner. There can only be one king. And Dark Immortals kind of caught us by surprise. Dark Immortals has like 2 other teams that are like brother teams to them. They got Immortals, Dark Immortals, and then they also had Immortals 2.0. But I gotta say, out of all 3 of those squads, I kind of feel like Dark Immortals was the one that shined the most. And I think they're one of the ones that competes more often as well. So we know one thing. They definitely have the drive to get the job done. But the side of Blacklist, they're kind of like Demigods, a team from the Wild Wild West, coming out of nowhere, but dominating a lot of these veteran teams. And it kind of makes you wonder, you know, where they sit on that ladder. And I guess today is a good way to find out, as this is match 1 for King of the Hill. And the winner of today's match will continue to go until they lose against multiple different teams. As we are finalizing the draft, you are looking at both sides getting ready to embark in the land of the Dawn. Brookie's over there, one of the newer members on the side of Blacklist, gonna go ahead and lock in that Valentina. We kind of talked about the ultimates that she could use at her disposal, and I'm really wondering how it's gonna play out. Maybe taking the Black Dragon and dropping on Jay. Maybe a possible plan to take out the backline, but you got to keep in mind Valentina is also a backline as well. Sai over there with that Sylvana, not your typical pick. That Imperial Justice able to trap members inside of his own zone and possibly get a pick off or a kill or a potential set for his team. But like you said, Sylvana, this is our first time in the MLSA ever seeing a Sylvana picked in the hands of Blacklist. So I'm expecting some great things over in the XP lane.
Definitely a newer pick for them, but interesting to note that carry, right, actually looking like one of the comfort picks for the side of Blacklist from their small sample size of showings that we've seen yesterday, playing in their first scheduled scrims up against Elite 10. They did take that victory in the series 2-1, and then 2 of those matches, 2 out of the 3 games, they did play this carry in the gold lane. So definitely something, a comfort of sorts for the side of Blacklist here. But the Carmilla looking a little out of place for them. They were playing a lot of damaged jungles yesterday. Their jungler playing Roger, Leomord, and Amon, finishing, I believe, 13-1-4 even with that Amon in the final match of that series, in a resounding win for Blacklist over Elite 10. But today, going for the utility with that Carmilla jungle, it'll be a little interesting to see how they utilize that pick.
Speaking of utilization, Akihiko wasting no time. Not going to go for the Lethal Wonder, but instead he's going to invade all the way around and steal the red buff. And oh my goodness! Some high IQ play. He's going to go ahead and go into that bush and recall. And that is a buff into the hands of Akihiko. A huge advantage for the side of Blacklist. But wait a minute. Not really sure if he had an AFK. There's Ruby not moving on the game. And I'm wondering, scratching my head, what's going on right now with Blacklist? Having a little bit hard of a time kind of jumping into match 1.
So I don't know if maybe it's a connection issue. We do know there could be coming from Jakarta here. We haven't figured out if this is the real deal Blacklist or not. But I guess we're going to see, like you said, are having a couple issues. We'd like to see these matches get underway. A couple things maybe in the way for Blacklist they're looking to play, but it does seem like they're ready to go from the side of Blacklist. So we can go ahead and potentially get this match started back underway, and it will get back started. And the side of Dark Immortals, right, off to a good start. They do go ahead and pick up a kill on that Ruby there. So a good little lead. It did fall into the hands of Shadow Key on that Beatrix, something you want to see for your gold laner. But speaking of kills here,
you are seeing a potential pick off onto Carry, putting some pressure down in that gold lane. Beatrix already having 1 kill. Like we said, Beatrix is going to win this early game in the gold lane, especially stacked up against a Carry. So having 1 kill at Shadow Key's advantage is huge in terms of kind of getting that additional gold in your favor and possibly building those items to kind of rev up and take down Carry. But this is all going to be dependent on how their team plays, right? You need to gank the gold lane and shut down Shadow Key if you are the side of Blacklist. And then also they need to get these neutral objectives to give their team additional shield and gold. Speaking of shield, though, look at the damage taken on Osim. But Imperial Justice connecting side, trying to get a kill on the J. Force uses Black Shoes, Carry getting a kill on the Shadow Key in the gold lane. Oh, actually, no, at the Turtle, as all teams are duking it out. You do see the Black Dragon going down by Franco. Bricky's getting a kill onto Chot. Down goes Karina. That was that Valentina that did pick that up. Franco getting a kill on to Supremacy, taking out the Ruby. Akihiko able to slay that Turtle with the Retribution, though. The way the Dragon connecting onto Sai. Sai trying to escape over there with that Sylvana, and is going to be able to retreat. But that is 3-2 right now, and Turtle going into the hands of Blacklist.
Absolutely. And I mean, we kind of seen what we said originally before we had to go to that reset in this match, right? Blacklist having the edge as far as these team fights. Dark Immortals going to have to find the pick-off before committing to these neutral objectives, because right on paper and across the board here, they're really at a disadvantage for these team fights. They have to play to their win conditions. You have to secure a pickoff before you can commit to these neutral objectives, and that just wasn't the case. Actually getting picked off first, losing members before Blacklist International, so already while at a disadvantage, going further in the hole as far as the disadvantage by losing in that setup for the Turtle. But speaking of setups in the mid-river,
you do see the way the Dragon connected on Brookies, but able to get away with the Pill of Ruby. Some smart playing indeed, using that CC to your advantage to push off Jay and Osim. And Brookies able to get out of that tricky situation. Interesting situation on the top side, though, as you are seeing Yuzong rush in against that Sylvana. And Sylvana having a little bit of a harder time. But wait a minute, looking on the bottom side, a possible gank. You do see Lauren Supremacy going in for a possible hook. Maybe a little bit of I'm offended on the way. Does connect. Speedy Light Wheels over there by Carry, trying to secure a kill. Did you see the Curse of Blood connecting? And down goes Shadow Key 2. Akihiko on the Carmilla jungle. What a play indeed, and that is going to give them a little bit of an advantage as they're going to go ahead and proxy this lane. Not even Chote on, and the Karina can do anything about this. Jay kind of joining the fight, maybe trying to push them back. Does have the Black Shoes, but used a little bit early, and that is going to allow them to continue stripping the gold off this bottom tower.
Yeah, and it goes back to what you said, right, Wizzy? Focusing in on that gold lane, Shadow Key was able to pick up that first early kill, but then getting taken down, transitioning over to that first turtle, that first neutral objective, and now getting a kill secured on him on that rotation, on that gank, and taking down the gold tower. Carry now in great position. Speaking of things for Carry, though, Corrosion Scythe being locked up from this efficient farming and from this attention from the rest of Blacklist, already finding that first item ahead of Beatrix, who we know is going for that expensive Blade of the Despair, so going to be slow on picking up the items right now, as Carry does have the advantage. But speaking of advantages here,
Black Dragon popping down, Osim getting a kill on the Carry, Brooks getting a kill on the Choke. Down goes Karina, the jungler for the side of Dark Immortals. But wait a minute, Akihiko with the Retribution able to secure that Turtle for the side of Blacklist. Sai getting a kill on the Franco. Down goes Yuzong into the hands of Sylvana. Akihiko getting a kill on to Jay. He does take out that Lilia, and Osim takes out Lauren Supremacy on that Ruby. That is a 3-for-1 trade, and Turtle going into the hands of Blacklist. Definitely the fight they wanted, but while all this was happening, you did see Shadow Key on the gold lane taking advantage of the separation and was able to push in that turret. But now that is an eye for an eye, as both turrets are pushing for both sides on the gold lane.
definitely, and a good read from Shadow Key to go ahead and make that trade on the map. Able to pick up that Blade of Despair as well to now match up against Carry after picking up that Corrosion. But speaking of pickups here,
you see Civ in a very dangerous situation. Osim with the way of the Dragon. Karina rushing in with the Shadow Assault. That 3v1 situation, too much to handle, but a little bit of a conceal play by Lauren Supremacy, possibly waiting for a pickoff. Speaking of pickoffs, though, Brookie's being a little aggressive, trying to rush in on to Osim for the kill, realizing that he just used that Way of the Dragon, so not really too much worry on setting you into that tower.
Definitely not too much worry there about the tower. But speaking of worry, Jay picking up that Ice Spin Wild now on Lilia. The utility coming into play from Dark Immortals is going to be a lot of help of forcing back the members of Blacklist. Speaking of forcing here, though, Franco
with the Black Dragon hit with the Way of the Dragon. No, that Dragon a little bit stronger, and down he goes to the 4v1 situation on the top side. Not really the fight you wanted to take. But speaking of fights, though, Sai getting hit with the Gloom over there by Jay, but it's not enough to take him down. You do see Osim on the chase, 4v1 situation, a mirror image of what we've seen on the top lane, but this time into the hands of Dark Immortal, and down goes Sai. Chote able to secure that kill. A wise decision from the side of Dark Immortal to respond back, and these are the trades we want to see. But speaking of trades, mid-tower being pushed in from the side of Blacklist, definitely paying attention to the map. If you take a tower, we take a tower, but both sides kind of winning in these engagements, but the side of Blacklist just doing a little bit better.
Definitely doing a little bit better. They are currently up 2K gold and up a tower, right? The pressure, the openings on the map in their favor. But speaking of openings here in the top side,
The way the dragon kind of displaced by the flicker over there on to carry, but oh my goodness, look at the damage. Black Shoes activated, the gloom too much to handle, and Jay secures that kill on to carry. Ruby joining the fight, trying to get some CC. Black Dragon activated by Franco, gonna drop down onto Lauren Supremacy, but the I'm Offended pulling them in. Shaw Essence activated, Brookie's getting a kill on to Jay. That is Valentino with a double kill, taking out Osama, triple kill, taking out Franco, and then Choate responded back, taking out Lauren Supremacy. But man, oh man, only one member on the side of Dark Immortals, and that is a Maniac over there into the hands of Brookie's on fire with this Valentina.
and I mean, that all starts from the setup, right, from Ruby coming over there, looking for a return trade and finding more than he ever probably could have imagined. That flicker, I'm Offended, right into the left of Carmilla for that Cursed Blood. Those links coming into play, finding every single member, and Brookie's applying that damage that Valentina is known for, even without the ultimates to be able to utilize in this match. Still has the kit, still has the damage, and that Terrify stacking up to be able to trade that. I mean, we're looking at the screen, the I'm Offended there right into the links. I mean, perfectly executed the Imperial Justice, the layering of Brookie's damage. Blacklist able to synergize that combination, and that's what you want to see from this composition, as they will be looking for these team fights, putting a Maniac into the hands of the mid laner for Blacklist, as they do get it done just right in that top side scuffle. But speaking of things being done right, Valentina picking up that Holy Crystal, getting a lot of gold from that fight there, already getting that Genius Wand as well for that early penetration, did a lot of damage to Dark Immortals, who are now a little bit in trouble from that recent little snowball. But speaking of snowball there, a kill going into the hands of Shadow Key. Something there to be able to get them back in the game. But speaking of getting back in the game here, we are seeing the fight happen in the jungle. Jay gonna find the kill on this Ruby here. G Kundu coming out from Osum onto this Cho, gonna do enough to hold side down and lock down for another kill. That's a quick 3-for-0 trade for Dark Immortals, who are now finding a pocket of opportunity to get back in this match. But Brookie's now getting caught out, potentially trying to make a play of way. The Dragon gonna catch him there, not gonna get the kill just yet. Akiko on this Carmilla is taken down, and now Valentina is gonna get shut down by Shadow Key. A lot of gold going into his hands. That glowing wand now just being picked up by Jay. Utility and damage on board for the mid laner for Dark Immortals, but the carry looking for a response potentially. Ruby going in for the flicker. I'm Offended, gonna lay down the CC, but carry a little out of distance. His own is looking for the disengage. Might have made a misplay, turning back around as carry is now in range for the damage. Nibiru Passion coming out, gonna take down carry from the Shadow Assault with Karina, facilitated by all the members of Dark Immortals, as a killing spree goes in the hand of Shadow Kill. Blacklist throwing bodies as the gold lead has now transferred back over to Dark Immortals.
Man, that was a back and forth kind of clash right there from both sides. Just heavily aggressive over the kills. This is a high kill game. It is 17-11. Combined, that is 28 kills in only 10 minutes. Not something you typically see, but that tells you a couple of things. These teams are definitely out for blood, but sometimes being over aggressive can cost you opportunities. Speaking of opportunities, though, you do see Brookie's trying to take out Osim as he's giving some vision to the team. Lord has spawned in, and the question is, who will it go to, as both teams kind of doing this custody battle over. Speaking of battle, though, Franco procking that Black Dragon's gonna decide to drop in. You do see Ruby with the I'm Offended. Carry getting a kill on the Shadow Key, taking out the Marksman, a double kill. Down goes Choate, down goes Karina, but Franco responding, taking out Carry, who did get that double kill, taking out the jungle for the side of Dark Immortals. But you do see Sai getting a kill onto Franco in response. Gonna go ahead and take down that Yuzong. But while they are at it, you are seeing Akihiko get a kill on to Jay, and that is 4 members down for the side of Dark Immortals. And this is gonna create the opportunity for Blacklist to take this Lord.
Absolutely. They found Carry and found Savannah, but at what cost? Is now Blacklist is making their way to go ahead and take this Lord uncontested. We're seeing Olmston, though, potentially going to go for a contest here. The G Kundu, the flicker in, but not going to get it done, as Ahiko will secure that. And we saw it, right? The playmaking from Ruby, which is exactly what you want to see in the midst of that fight. Black Dragon came out, but a big I'm Offended from Ruby, again, able to get it done, setting up the kills for a Blacklist, and the response from Dark Immortals just a little too late. The fight was already decided by that I'm Offended from Ruby, as then they were just getting taken out one by one. All the members getting taken out except Cho, and opening up that Lord for Blacklist to go ahead and take. But speaking of openings in the mid lane, a potential clash, but both members are going to go ahead and disengage. Lord pushing in the top side for the side of Blacklist International. They only have 2 members up, though, currently. It's going to be a little hard to get anything done, as Dark Immortals does have the majority of their roster up. But since there's a lull in the action, speaking of majority, let's look at these items that just look like most of the players are picking up those core Beatrix, right? We already pointed out had that Blade of Despair, but now has that Malefic Roar, that Haas Claw for some sustain, and with that late game penetration, that percent pin, is going to be able to do a lot of damage to the front line from Blacklist International. Speaking of damage, though, Carry picking up that DHS right now, able to be able to chunk out some of these members along with that golden staff. But speaking of damage here, we're in the jungle.
You are fight over that blue buff, but the question is who will win? Shaw Essence procced over there by Yuzong. Brookie's getting a kill on the Shadow Key. Down goes Beatrix into the hands of Valentina. Jay getting a kill on the side. That is Lilia picking up that kill, taking out a member of the side of Blacklist. Carry getting a kill on to Choke. Down goes the jungler for the side of Dark Immortals. But you do see Franco rushing in with the Black Dragon, trying to get a kill. Pull with the I'm Offended. Petrified. Oh my goodness. Down he goes to the speedy light wheels of Carry. And that is 3 members down in that clash on the side of Dark Immortals. Definitely a trade leaning into the favor of Blacklist as they're going to push in this inner turret for the mid lane.
Definitely looking to push in this mid lane, looking to push in this inhibitor potentially, or at least pop the passive of this tower. Holy Crystal being picked up on our screen by Lilia, who's going to look to try to return some damage here and defend, but speedy light wheels coming out from Carry.
Could possibly go in for another kill. Blacklist currently on fire, and this is that Carry that we were talking about. That late game damage is in full effect. And oh my goodness, they are trying to hold them off. Brooks is getting a kill on Osim. Brooks is getting a double kill, taking out Shadow Key. Down goes Beatrix. But wait a minute. You do see Yuzong rushing in, trying to get the Shaw Essence. Show getting a kill with the Shadow Assault. Carry getting a kill onto Franco. Down goes Yuzong. A little bit of a stun, a little bit of a Petri. And down goes Karina into the hands of that Sylvana over there on side. Jay left to fend off the Nexus by himself. And ladies and gentlemen, we do see Blacklist taking the game.
Taking the game and taking our breath away. We're seeing it again, and we've been seeing it a lot recently. These new teams coming into the MLSA and taking these matches, taking these victories over some of the OGs of the MLSA, able to come in here and assert dominance. And speaking of asserting dominance, Akiko, I pointed it out yesterday, playing those damaged jungles, able to win out that series against Elite 10, and right now showing he can get it done on the opposite side of the pool with these utility junglers as he does pick up the MVP. And I mean, you can see the plays from him even in this final clash here. It all starts from a link he threw up to begin that team fight to enable some of that damage, letting Brookies pick up a quick double kill as they went for the Nexus push and ultimately secured the victory in the first match, a King of the Hill. And like I said, Blacklist, one of those teams that we did kind of nod, can get it done, able to get it done as a team collectively, as an effort, doing a great job of taking this match against Dark Immortals. But these statistics definitely tell the story. Carry, we saw the damage, doing 31% there, along with Brookie's kind of splitting the 25% on that mage, something you love to see, but 71% turret damage from the Carry, 26k to be specific, able to find those towers, which is ultimately the name of the game. Beatrix tried to do the same, but the damage difference was too insane, not able to match up in those team fights to get it done. A match, though, for Blacklist, like we said, well done. A great effort from them as they do secure the first win in King of the Hill today.
What a game indeed. Blacklist. We were kind of wondering how they would fare off against one of the vets in the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, and a crazy finish to close it out. And they will be the King of the Hill. And now the question is, who will be able to take that crown away from them? As that was the first match, and definitely one of the most intense ones we've seen in a while. A high kill game, 23-24 in only 13 minutes. So I'm looking forward to seeing the Americanized Blacklist kind of try and keep on to the crown and climb up that ladder, as we have a bunch of teams waiting to try and take them down. That's right, this is King of the Hill, and the rules are simple. It is a first come, first serve, best of one. Winning team stays on every Monday and Wednesday, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So like we said, I'm excited to see what all these teams are going to bring to the table going forward. But we know there can only be one king, and right now that is going to be Blacklist. So excited to see as we progress through today's stream what teams are going to kind of poke their heads out and possibly snatch the crown away from Blacklist. But guys, grab some popcorn, get some drinks, as the next teams are getting ready to battle it out, and we'll be right back with you guys momentarily.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, Honey Bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
Yeah. Loved you from the first time you called me lame. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah. Always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah. With you the summer came and went in a day. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Oh. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. Oh, no, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. Woo! I can feel it when you're miles away. Yeah, you can make it shine when the whole world rains. Always on my mind, always in my brain. With you the days are long and the nights are late. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Ooh, and I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. Oh, no, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, never, never wanna No, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, Honey Bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
Yeah. Loved you from the first time you called me lame. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah. Always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah. With you the summer came and went in a day. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. When you're miles away, yeah. You can make it shine when the whole world rains. Always on my mind, always in my brain. With you the days are long and the nights are late. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Ooh, and I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. Forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Land of the Dawn, as we are the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, and we are on Season 1, Week 4, Day 3, Series 2. Actually, not even Series 2, Match 2, as we are in King of the Hill, and the rules are simple. First come, first serve, best of one. Winning team stays on every Monday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And today, we've seen Blacklist kind of dominate in Game 1, maintaining that crown. And now they have one win under their belt, but they are going up against the Elite 10. This is a little bit of a revampage from Straw Hats, kind of changing their name, but they have a special guest kind of playing on their team today, which is Coach Deku. One of the MLSA staff, and also the caster who's been kind of helping along the way that you actually heard last game cast. So this is going to be interesting indeed. Does the power of Elite 10 have what it takes to snatch that crown off of Blacklist International, the Americanized queen, on their side? So I'm excited to see from both teams what they bring to the table going forward.
Absolutely. Speaking of bringing things to the table, you know, I'm here on the casters desk as Coach Deku's in the match right now. And speaking of things being brought into the match, we do see, looking at the draft, the side of Elite 10 picking up that Yuzong and the Yves. And speaking of pickups, the side of Blacklist International, the NA Blacklist International, picking up that Faramis. One of those picks that when you think Blacklist, those are one of the picks that you expect to be slotted from them, whether it's the OG Blacklist or our Blacklist International. And I like what I'm seeing so far in terms of the draft. We do see that heavy frontline presence that we know that Elite 10 tends to pick up with the Fedrin, the Akai, the Kufra. Is an interesting band, but the other two, I think they studied the side of Elite 10 because these are very much comfort picks for the size of Elite 10. So Blacklist is definitely doing work on the teams that we have here in the Scrim Academy.
Oh my goodness. And speaking of the teams, Brookies with that bold statement is going to go ahead and lock in that Fanny. And what does that guarantee? That early game pressure. If Brookies can come online and pave that early game, we might see a possible fast finish for the side of Blacklist. Fanny, one of them heroes that's very hard to deal with, that focuses on getting that blue buff and then rotating to those backlines to delay them from being those late game damage dealers, or even delaying them to be the early game damage dealers. So we are going to have to see a little bit of a strategy to work around Brookies on the side of Elite 10. Speaking of strategy though, an answer back. Heaven's Blade is going to go ahead and lock in the Ling. Now, Heaven's Blade, we've seen him on the Ling before, a master of his craft. I can definitely vouch for him on that Ling. Having that Tempest Ablaze at his sides when things get a little bit tricky is going to make the turtle a little bit easier, and also the neutral objectives work a little bit more in their favors. That's kind of one of the broken things about Ling, is you can combo that Retribution with the Tempest Ablaze, that ultimate, where you cannot do any damage to Ling at all, and he's basically invulnerable in that state. And not the worst pickup, right? But now, what does this mean? This means both sides have a heavy buff-dependent hero to work with. But wait a minute, Brookies is not running Fanny with Retribution. This is going to be a Fanny in the XP lane.
Absolutely. But speaking of defense, though, I'm looking at the Melissa pick on the side of the Elite 10. We do know usually when a team picks up the Melissa, the major response to that is the Farsa. But because this Faramis is going to be the mid laner possibly, we do know her ultimate prevents heroes from diving her. She has that getaway. And the thing about the side of Blacklist International, they have the dive, but she kind of mitigates that. And when you think of her being surrounded by the Yves with the real world manipulation for the slow, the utility, as well as that Yuzhong that can help zone, she, just like we saw from the Huevos last night, how they slotted around and drafted around the Hanabi pick, the Elite 10 definitely drafted around this Melissa. So I'm excited to see how it's going to play off, especially when it comes to these team fights.
Yeah, and I'm wondering how well this Fanny is going to work in the XP lane, right? If you look at who you're matched up against, you're going against a Yuzong, who has that shot essence, a little bit of sustainability, and also that Petrify to possibly keep the Fanny in place. So we are going to be kind of keeping an eye up in that lane. Like you mentioned, the Melissa, that mid to late game marksman into the hands of 1804. That go away to keep those frontline heroes at bay. But the question is, can 1804 proc it in time before Fanny rushes in on Brookies with that cutthroat to kind of close him down? You know, that's kind of the things you're running into. Meliodas is going to run that Eve. Having that manipulation at her disposal is going to go ahead and basically zone out a whole area for damage and slow for the team. Now, you do have Fanny to get to the back line. that is one thing working into the hands of Blacklist going forward. But the question is, how well will they perform? You see a lot of people kind of pick the Fanny. Sometimes we see some masters, but other times kind of scratching our head on picking that hero that requires a high level of gameplay. So this is our first time seeing Brookies on it, and we're definitely going to be paying attention to see how well Brookies can perform.
Speaking of how well we can perform, we do see Brookies giving a little eye on that buff, potentially trying to go in for the steal there. And I'm excited to see if she's going to be able to pull it off. Speaking of pulling it off here, we do see it not actually, you know, being worth that time invested there because they lost the buff steal. So a little bit of miscommunication there. So excellent job on the side of the Elite 10 for securing Ling's blue buff.
Yeah, Ling forced to use that retribution in that process, though, which could open the door for a possible invade, but looks like that's not the plan for Blacklist. Fanny probably going to be doing that the entire game. Is just going to wait for that timer over on that blue buff and possibly steal it from Ling, as we are seeing a Fanny versus a Yuzong in the bottom lane. One thing about Fanny, though, is you do have the mobility to kind of get in and out, and also recall to kind of regen your energy. But speaking of energy, you are seeing a fight going in on side, playing that Grok in the roam position for the side of Blacklist right now. And man, oh man, do we have a fight on the way. We are looking at the double assassin. Can't wait to see how Heaven's Blade kind of performs on this Ling. One thing about Ling is he's able to kind of split push, create opportunity, and also have an easier time on the neutral objectives. But speaking of objectives, there goes Brookies on the Fanny. We were questioning the cables, and oh my goodness! Gonna go ahead and secure that first blood. Down goes Meliodas on that E, but wait, Tempest of Blades going in by Heaven's Blade. Not able to do much out of it, though, and you are seeing the Cotter Inferno over there by Akihiko on the Thomas right now. A little bit of that Guardian's Barrier to block them off in that tower. 1804 realizes Sai's in a bad position, overextending in the jungle. They are going to try and chase down that kill, but deciding to not follow through with it. Now, like we said, that is one kill into the hands of Blacklist, secured by Brookies on that Fanny.
Absolutely, and the thing is, it's such a refreshing game to see these two assassin junglers, not assassin junglers, but seeing two assassins in the game, as well as seeing the Grok in the roam position again, to remind us of how influential of a roamer he actually is when it comes to his ultimate, that wall, and his combo potential and outplay potentials. Having the Fanny in the EXP lane, we saw her able to pick up that first blood up in the top lane, the gold lane on the Eve, and it just goes to show the Yuzong may have the dragon, but Fanny has the cables. And speaking of having things, we see some items being picked up. We do see Yuzong picking up the early game penetration, as well as Fanny opting in for that damage to help her secure these objectives.
Objectives, though, you do see manipulation going down. Heaven's Blade making the most out of Sai being over-aggressive, trying to contest that red buff, and the full side of Elite 10 is going to go ahead and take that fight, and down goes Sai. A kill into the hands of Elite 10 to even up the scoreboard right now. Only 3 minutes in. Both teams already having a kill. And not only a kill, but into the hands of these assassins that we're talking about. One over there for Fanny and one over there for Heaven's Blade on that Ling. But now the question is, where do you go from here, right? Fanny's going to be going up against that Yuzong. Maybe having a little bit of a harder time as this game progresses in that lane. But speaking of hard time, Akihiko rushing in with Cotter Inferno, trying to burst down Heaven's Blade. He is going to rush in for blood, proccing that Tempest of Blades out of Heaven's Blade. You do see Akihiko getting a kill onto Five Nights at Freddy. Down goes Coach Deku. Black Dragon dropping down over there by Ban, trying to rush in and get a possible pick off. But wait a minute, a little bit of an overextension may be costly as he is quickly getting bursted down. Can they secure the kill? Speaking of kills, though, off screen, you do see Fanny getting a kill over there in the gold lane, taking out that Melissa. But a direct response, you are going to see another kill in their hands to take down Ban on that Yuzong with that overextension. And now you are seeing Blacklist 4-1 right now, with a solid lead in kills.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. Once you structure your identity over a team like Blacklist International, an already structured, well-seasoned team in the Mobile Legends community, you have to be able to match their gameplay, their quality, and their performance. And our Blacklist International, they definitely have what it takes to keep up with that momentum, keep up with those expectations. And speaking of keeping up here,
oh my goodness, Tempest of Blaze, but hit with the shotgun. Oh my god, looks like Wesker's Elation has different plans for that Ling. What a trade. That was almost a bad situation for the marksman over there with Heaven's Blade on that die, but able to turn that around with a knockup on top of that is pretty insane. You see 1804 picking up that Windtalker, though. We did see him get bursted down, though, by the quick rotation on that Fanny, and now you're seeing the gold lane kind of swap sides. Fanny is going to be fighting this Melissa now, and Beatrix will be in the bottom lane versus that Yuzong.
Absolutely. And was it a wise swap? Because we do see now 1804 is able to give this Fanny a run for her money. And as we mentioned, the go away with the ultimate, Fanny's not going to be able to dive to get her if we play this successful. You know, if you use this hero's utility to your advantage, it's going to make it a harder time. But I will say it was a 50-50 swap, because I do feel like the Beatrix, one of the shining marksmen in the Scrim Academy, definitely has a great performance. And speaking of great performances here,
you see both of them rushing in, Heaven's Blade and Ban, and they're going to go ahead and secure that kill on to Beatrix, who was trying to close out that tower, but was able to get a trade off of it. Is down it goes. So at least you won something off of that engagement. But speaking of engagement, a little bit of a look at Akihiko, kind of trying to proxy the minions to open up this mid tower being pushed in from Hisu. Can he get it though? Looks like they are not able to secure it, as 1804 and Ban rushing in. But oh my goodness, speaking of rushing in, Brookies with the cables gonna take out Meliodas with no protection, getting to that back line, taking out that Eve. And this is what you want to see from your assassins.
Exactly. And the thing is, I'm fearing for the side of the Elite 10 here, because as we all know, usually what teams do when they slot this Fanny in the XP lane, they usually pick a jungler like the Thomas that's not a buff dependent hero. And what that's going to allow in the late game is for Fanny to pick up that buff to, you know, use less energy when she goes in for the kills. And we see how well she's able to perform without the blue buff. So it's on the side of Elite 10 to make this game get to the point where they can just snowball and fire back. And speaking of fire back here,
you are seeing a lot of members down. Down goes Fanny with that shot essence from that Yuzong in the bottom lane, almost able to escape. But speaking of escapes, speaking of Yuzong, Ban is going to go ahead and try and take out this Beatrix. You do see Heaven's Blade going to rush in and take his red buff in that process. Hisu forced on the retreat in this class. But let's just take a look at these heroes so far. These secret weapons that are paving the way right now for the side of Blacklist. Fanny, 3-1-0 is going to go ahead and now start this blue buff. And it looks like Thomas realizing, hey, you need that a little bit more than I do. It's going to go ahead and let that go into the hands of Brookies. And that's going to create the opportunity for Brookies to roam around this map and not use as much energy for these engagements. We've seen how well Brookies can kind of rush in for the backline, taking out Meliodas, taking out 1804 on that Melissa in the top lane. Definitely a big factor in the early aggression and the early keys to victory for the side of Blacklist. But on the side of Elite 10, they have 1804 having a little bit of a harder time getting online, but he is that mid to late game marksman, and if they can take it there, he may be a possible problem. Speaking of problems though, you do see the heavy aggression onto Beatrix. Oh my goodness, the 3v1 situation. Definitely did not expect that gank. And now they're all going to decide to recall, and I'm kind of scratching my head right now as why not push in that tower, but instead they are going to try and defend instead in this process. Petrify going in on the tower though. Akihiko getting the turret. Ricky's taking out Meliodas, getting to that backline again with the Fanny. And man, oh man, they are losing tons of real estate for the side of Elite 10 right now.
speaking of real estate, I want to take a look at these items, because the side of Blacklist International, they are getting the job done. And speaking of things to get the job done, for Ram is locking in that I can't remember, but the buck, you know, cooldown reduction, y'all know which one I'm talking about, and the lightning truncheon, which is going to help him deal so much more damage with that second skill. As we all know, it's a very, and speaking of damage, he's able to take out the Ling. We see Grok with the Dominance Ice, Beatrix locking in that Blade of Despair. She has the physical penetration, and I think she's going to build in to possibly Haas Claws so she can get some more sustainability. Speaking of Fanny, with the Malefic Roar, able to get that physical penetration to deal even more damage. On top of that, the side of Elite 10 a little slow in terms of itemization. Eve hasn't picked up the utility from the Ice Queen wand yet, but she is building into it. However, I don't know, the side of Blacklist International is playing this match really well here.
Definitely playing really well. You got to give it to Brookies. Even though Brookies died in that clash, was able to get straight into that backline to take out Meliodas on that Eve. But speaking of taking out, 18-4 getting a kill onto Sai as Blacklist trying to close this out. He's going to kill onto Heaven's Blade. That is a Feromus securing the kill onto the jungler. Beatrix is going to kill onto Meliodas. Correction, a double kill is going to go ahead and take out Ruby. And not only take out Ruby, ladies and gentlemen, Blacklist does it again. They take another win in King of the Hills, taking down Elite 10.
Absolutely. A beautiful game from the side of Blacklist International. Definitely living up to that team's name, standard, and expectations. We see Faramis picking up MVP this game with the items. He built the Lightning Truncheon, the glowing one, as well as Enchanted Talisman. Full cooldown reduction, as well as having the damage. Speaking of having damage, Fanny, with only the Malefic Roar, Blade of Heptases, and Blade of Despair, able to be such a menace to the side of Elite 10, not giving that Fanny a chance to excel and pop off here.
Speaking of pop off, a little bit of that replay and that action that we kind of seen to close out this game. Beatrix definitely getting that double kill kind of paved the way. And then also you see in Thomas over there on Akihiko just putting in God's work on that turret. Definitely a wise decision indeed. But man, oh man, we got to take a little bit of a look at the data right now for the side of Blacklist.
Speaking of data on the side of Blacklist, the team fight participation, they're all pretty evened out here. And that's what we like to see. We know a team like Blacklist, they roam together, they secure these objectives together. There's a lot of synergy on the side of Blacklist International. The side of Elite 10, they did have a very strong team fight composition. However, they weren't able to fully execute these combos and gameplays. The side of Blacklist was able to just get the upper edge. We look at how many members of them have that push potential, as well as the overall damage output during this game. So a beautiful game, beautifully played on the side of Blacklist International. Elite 10, they had a good game. It wasn't a complete sweep. They fought back, but ultimately Blacklist International won the fight.
There you go, Blacklist International taking another win under their belt as they are the current kings of the hill with 2 wins at their side. But the question is, who will take them on next? Is there any teams out there ready to try and claim that crown? Or do we see a new future king for the MLSA in the making? We know the highest record was taken by Ackerman with 7 in a row. Definitely a hard record to beat, but with the pace, with the tempo of Blacklist so far, maybe not too far from being a possibility. But like we said, these teams are trying to knock them off as they climb up higher and higher on that ladder. And the question is, who will get it done? Find out here shortly. Speaking of shortly though, guys, today is King of the Hill and we are the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, and the rules are simple. It is a first come, first serve, best of 1. Winning team stays on every Monday and every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Grab your popcorn, get some drinks. We'll be right back with you guys momentarily to see if Blacklist has what it takes to hold on to the crown.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, Honey Bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
this is a wonder to behold.
Loved you from the first time you called me lame. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah, always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah, with you the summer came and went in a day, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget, and I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget, yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah. Woo! When you're miles away, yeah, you can make it shine when the whole world rains. Always on my mind, always in my brain. With you the days are long and the nights are late, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Ooh, and I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget, and I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah. Forget anyway, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, honey bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
this is a wonder to behold.
Loved you from the first time you called me late. Loved you for your whips and your wicked games. Yeah, always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah, with you the summer came and went in a day, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget, and I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget, yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Land of the Dawn. We are the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, and today is Season 1, Week 4, Day 3, Match 3. As we have seen Blacklist kind of dominating in King of the Hill today, taking 2 wins under their belt. And the question is, will they be able to take a third? That's right, it is King of the Hill, and the rules are simple. It is first come, first serve, best of 1. Winning team stays on every Monday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time until the last team stands. Like we said, Blacklist kind of dominating so far, able to take out the Elite 10, and then prior to them taking out Dark Immortals. And now they're going to go up against another team trying to snatch that crown, the team from the Wild Wild West, Demigods. Also today, guys, we're going to be casting alongside Eunice over there on the analyst side of the table. How you doing today?
Hello. I'm good. And yourself?
Oh, I'm great. Glad to have you here. Ready to see some good games?
I am.
Now, I have to ask you, you've seen Blacklist kind of play a little bit today, and Demigods, we've seen them kind of compete. They were that team that came out of nowhere last week
right.
And surprised us with how well they could kind of play. I know you have some friends over there on the side of Blacklist, but I still got to ask the question, who do you think takes this game?
I honestly, I really can't say, because I actually haven't been able to fully, like on my side and my end, been able to completely 100% analyze Demigod's side. I've seen them play, but I haven't been there like long enough to be able to like criticize and like see how they play. But honestly, just by looking at this draft right now, I would favor Demigod right now as a draft itself. I mean, I do see that Fanny and Fairmiss and that Valentina Band, and then Joy, Carmilla, and Lapu. I do know a little bit, though, on the side of Blacklist. So, for Blacklist, I know that Sai is also a very good marksman. That S2 slot, his name says you're very cute. So, for all of you guys watching, you guys are very cute. I've seen them marksman and all that. Hisu, actually, she's a absolute goated mage. So I don't know if the team, the side of Demigod, can pick up with that heat, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be a very interesting game. Interesting game. I'm sorry, my mic just cut out for no reason. Side of Blacklist just picked up that Leomore with the Beatrix, and now with that new patch coming out, Beatrix's wave clear got absolutely nerfed to the ground. But honestly, if you are fed enough, during like the first 10 minutes in, you should be actually okay to be clear. So very, very good sustain on that marksman. Mobility is there with that Alice pickup right there. On the side of Demigods, so they did pick up that Kaja. And now the thing is, Kaja's been banned. One of the top 6 priority bans for almost every single ranking I've pretty much been in. I mean, he is pretty annoying with that ult. His one person focus CC. They had that Lilia peel for that backline. They have that Fredrin. We already know, all of us know that Fredrin's really really annoying. They did ban that Akai and that Claude on the side of Blacklist, and I think they're banning out any backline marksmen for the side of Demigod. But in return, in that response, Demigod did block out any roamers. They did block out that Atlas and that Diggy. And honestly, if it were me, I would have just blocked out Atlas and blocked out another thing maybe, because, you know, I don't think they're going to go, you know, automatic first pick Diggy if, you know, if Atlas was already banned. So very interesting. I do wonder what they're going to pick though. Side of Blacklist, they still need a roam slot, and they still need, I'm guessing, a mid or a side. I don't know if that's an Alice mid, Alice side. But on the side of Demigod, they're still missing that marksman, and they are still missing that EXP for sure. So I'm actually really interested. And speaking of pickups, side did pick up that Grok, which I am guessing that is a Grok roam, I think. I do see Leslie getting picked up, and we already know Leslie late game pretty much hurts. So I don't know about draft yet. Weezy, what do you think?
I mean, I like the Grok pickup. That's definitely most likely going to be a Grok roam, but one of the beautiful things about it is it could be a flex pick, right? Speaking of flex picks, Brooks over there with I keep saying Brookies, but I'm pretty sure that looks like Brookies to me. So I'm going to go with Brookies, all right? Don't judge me if I'm saying it wrong. Brookies, I'm sorry if I am. It may be Brooks. But that Alice, right? That is a flex pick as well. You don't really necessarily know if it's going to go in the mid lane, but more often than not, we are seeing it slotted there and as that mage role for a lot of teams in the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy. But like I said, that Grok, I love how that was kind of slotted in here. Definitely a solid roam to kind of guarantee that knock-up CC with the wild charge. Able to use those guardian barriers as a means of pushing the team back from neutral objectives and also trapping them in for a possible clash. You are looking at Hisu, I think one of your friends over there, you know, possibly deciding what they are going to slot. But the question is, if they pick a mage, is this going to be an Alice slotted in the XP lane? This is kind of what it looks like, but wait a minute. When you pull out that Valir, it kind of has you scratching your head, because Valir, we've seen it in the MLSA, slotted as a roam, and now I'm wondering which way it's going to go. Who's going to be the roam for the side of Blacklist? Definitely living up to the name with their wild card drafts, picking up that Valir over there on Hisu. Now you are looking at Human Bird, locking in that Badang. Not something we typically see in the Scrim Academy, but it doesn't mean it does not work. Use that fist crack to try and rush in, get that CC, throw the wall behind him, and it's pretty much GG's unless you have that Purify. So definitely having to be a little bit careful on that. But the question is, who is he going to be matched up against? We know that he is going to be in the XP lane as Bombshell locked in that Fredrin for the side of Demigods. This is not any Fredrin. This is a Fredrin jungle. Fredrin that has that frontline sustainability, also has the skills to be able to use Energy Eruption to taunt and disrupt anybody's skills near him. Also having Appraiser's Wrath to deal that late damage, especially when things are looking a little shaky and his HP gets lower, the higher his damage output becomes. But like we said, we are embarking into the Land of the Dawn, and we are seeing Blacklist already 2 wins down, and it looks like they are going to try and go for their third. They are fighting with a lot of momentum and a lot of heat on their side, the side of Demigods, team from the Wild Wild West. We've seen them kind of take out top teams in the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, not really worried about how high they are on the pedestal. And I'm excited to see both these teams kind of match up today. Is this the first time you've ever seen them compete in the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy?
Absolutely. And now, speaking of laning phase right now, obviously Leslie is going to have that little bit of an advantage with her S1 skill. That invisibility can make her easily poke the tower. And speaking of pickoffs, that Beatrix did just get picked off by that Leslie, not even a minute into the game, which already puts Blacklist at a little bit of a disadvantage with that gold. But speaking of those pickoffs, especially that mid lane, we already know that Lilia does have a very, very fast wave clear, but looks like he's just holding up pretty well. Very, very lots of macro coming in from those two mid laners. But speaking of those two macros, we already see that the Badang is trying to freeze the Alice's lane, and like you said earlier, without Purify, his wall is going to definitely hit. It's like a Grok 2.0, you know? Speaking of pickoffs, though, they look like they're forcing up that top lane up there. They look like they're trying to pick us, but Blacklist will definitely push and fall back to run for that neutral objective turtle. But for now, everything's looking pretty nice. Leslie's still getting her gold up. That Beatrix has no choice but to play safe because of that first blood pickoff from the side of Demigods.
This is an interesting game, seeing it go forward. I think a wise choice from Demigods to take out Beatrix nice and early, kind of delaying her from scaling in the early game. We know Beatrix can get the job done on all aspects of the map, and all times as well. But when you rush in for that invasion, you secure that kill. You give the unnamed marksman, that Leslie over there, DG, an easier time, as that Leslie is more of that mid to late game marksman. So allowing him to kind of get more gold and providing those pickoffs is huge for the side of Demigods. Speaking of huge, though, we do see Turtle in play. A little bit of a clash from both sides. Fist activated by Human Bird. It's too early, though. Shadow Stampede in full effect. Hisu getting a kill onto Bombshell in the middle of a Numir's Passion. We do see the flowing blood from Brookies rushing into the back to the tower over there on this Alice. But again, nobody took this turtle and it was reset, and now 1-1 on the board for both sides in terms of kills.
Absolutely, and with that neutral objective turtle not being taken right now, both junglers now have the advantage to fight for the neutral objective turtle. And even though that turret or that turtle was never touched, it gives both sides an equal advantage for that turtle fight again. No sides and no roles just yet have picked up any big items yet. Looks like those marksmen are still neck to neck, even though that first blood was picked up by the side of Demigods. So that Beatrix has definitely been farming very carefully. Only about 200-300 gold now off from that Leslie, which is not too bad. I do see that Beatrix building that steel breastplate to give that little bit of sustain in that early game. And looks like they're taking a turtle. Looks like it has been picked up by Leomord on the side of Blacklist. So definitely a little bit of a gold increase now for the side of Blacklist. Now the question is if they've been able to snowball and be able to help their sustain.
Yeah, looking at this match, right, that is one objective into the hands of Blacklist. Even though they lost in that first trade in the beginning with that heavy gank onto Beatrix, not even a minute in, they were able to take this turtle, which is going to provide a lot of shield for the side of Blacklist in these engagements. Not only shield, but gold as well. Now they are leading by 300. Speaking of an invasion, though, you are seeing the ultimate sniper come out from Leslie, but Hizu, a little bit of blockage, is going to go ahead and stop it. Beatrix getting a kill onto Norbert, and that is the mage down for the side of Demigods. But wait a minute, Shadow Stampede activated, forcing 3 members into the tower. Bombshell, Warrior, and DG with very low HP. And man, oh man, it looks like Blacklist is going to continue to apply this pressure. We were looking at Hisu with this Valir, that burst fireball to kind of stack up some CC. And then you have that Grok, that Guardian's barrier to trap them in as well. And then not only trap them in, possibly hit them with the wild charge for the knockup and damage. And now you're seeing them kind of maintain that pressure on this top lane and possibly a little bit of proxy on these minions.
Absolutely, and we all know Valir, not really a very common pick in the current meta right now, but we all know that Valir is one of the most annoying CC mages I have ever come across. And with that second skill, with that push off, like that airborne, that CC, that slow is absolutely disgusting. And speaking of pickoffs, looks like that Kaja did try to do something, but definitely had to back off. And speaking of pickoffs, that Beatrix just killed their Fredrin. And if you look at the KDA of that Fredrin, though, 0-2-0, not looking too hot for the side of Demigods, but we have that Leslie still being able to keep up with her gold, even though she's falling just a little bit off now from the side of Demigods. Eunice, or that Blacklist, Beatrix, and that Leslie is neck to neck. We just see that Leslie just picked up that Berserkers, that core item. So now they're definitely going to be able to do some damage. Leslie should be able to sustain her lane just a little bit more. Mid lane, not so much going on. And speaking of picks, that Leomore did just pick up that second neutral objective turtle, which means that from here on out, Blacklist should be able to snowball, but that Beatrix did just get picked off by the side of Demigods. Good play by that Leslie. And unfortunately, that Kaja, though, is doing a little bit of a babysitting going on at the top of Demigods. I think they really just want that Leslie fed. What do you think?
Yeah, I would say it's a good rotation, a good read over there from Warrior on this Kaja, right? Creating that situation where you're making it hard for Beatrix to stay in that gold lane, that 2v1 situation, and not a response from the side of Blacklist to help defend Beatrix. That is 2 deaths already on the side for your marksman. Yeah, Beatrix took 2 kills, but like we said, Beatrix is supposed to kind of shine in the early game against the Leslie, and I think this is something that the side of Demigods realized, and they've been having Warrior kind of proc up there with that Divine Judgment to keep Beatrix at bay and possibly get some pickoffs over there for DG on this Leslie. But speaking of pickoffs, though, looks like a little bit of proxy of lane as Akihiko and Sai over there on that Grok is waiting for these minions to kind of respawn and push in. Actually, minions are already there, and they did proxy the lane. Shadow Stampede activated onto DG, forced to try and retreat. You do see a little bit of Divine Judgment activating, but not enough to hold him back. Norbert getting a kill onto Akihiko. Beatrix getting a kill onto Leslie. But looks like Sai trying to retreat, trying to hug onto that wall for mobility and anti-CC, but it's not enough as Fredrin is rushing in, making him pay. But the question is, will he get the kill? Oh, wait a minute. Was that a flicker? A little bit of a waste over there from Kaza, but they did secure that kill. Speaking of kills, though, Hisu in a tricky situation is going to go ahead and use a flicker herself actually, to go into that tower for a little bit of protection. But man, oh man, these members are dropping left and right. 4 kills on both sides of the boards, and now the 5th kill taken for Blacklist is down goes Norbert on the side of Demigods.
Beautiful rotations actually by the XP lane of Blacklist. And speaking of pickoffs, that Badang just pick off that Valier. Now with that Valier being picked off, they actually give that free space in that mid lane, so they're able to now be able to sustain for both sides. Side of Blacklist does have to push up just a little bit on that Leslie. I feel like if they don't focus, like even starting from now, because since that Leslie picked up Berserkers already, as soon as she starts to scale, as soon as she starts to pick up those other items, she's just going to keep snowballing. I mean, look at those items. She's rushing that. I'm pretty sure that is Endless Battle that she's building currently, and even with just 1 core item on that Leslie, definitely going to be doing a lot of damage. And that Beatrix has just only picked up Blade of Despair, and speaking of pickups, that ult's coming in from Warrior did end up giving that Beatrix a goodbye invitation for the side of Blacklist. Leslie is definitely on a roll right now. Her KD is looking pretty good, 2-1-2 for the side of Demigods. And as of neutral objective Lord, it has been picked up by Blacklist, and I think they've taken every single objective so far, the turtle and that Lord. Now that gave a chance for Demigods to definitely push up that lane, and even though they were struggling just a little bit with that tower push, it was an equal response by the side of Demigods.
Definitely an equal response indeed. But we did see Beatrix, even though I was trying to say the name. I forgot what you said it was called though. You're cute, right? Is that how you say it over there for the Beatrix?
So Beatrix name in Korean. It's in Korean. It says you are cute.
You are cute. Okay, so we're gonna call him cute, or call her cute. So cute. Interesting enough, even with that 2v1 situation, going up against that Kaja, going up against that Leslie, was able to outfarm the Leslie and picked up that Blade of Despair to kind of maintain that fight. Not only picked up the Blade of Despair, but also was able to push in that turret before the Leslie had a chance to. But speaking of pushes, you are seeing that Lord kind of get that 1v1 with Leslie in that inner turret for the top side, while a little bit of action in the mid-river is underway. Wild charge over there by Sai, connecting with the Namir's Passion over there by Cute. But wait a minute, Appraiser's Wrath with some serious damage. Sai able to get out with that frontline sustainability, but Beatrix taking out Norbert in that process. You can't take ours, but we sure will take yours, as they are able to secure that mage on the side of Demigods. And now you are seeing Beatrix rush in, you are seeing Valir rush in, trying to take this turret to open up the map in the favor of Blacklist, and they are able to secure it with little contest. Speaking of contest though, a little bit of momentum over there by Akihiko on that Leomord into the Badang. Wondering how this Bedang will kind of play as we progress to that late game, as we have now hit the 10-minute mark, and these towers are dropping left and right for both sides. But I will say, in the defense of Blacklist, right, they only lost the top one. They still holding on to their mid lane completely, while the mid turret has been pushed in for the side of Demigods, which is going to open up the map for a lot of these engagements, as you are seeing in the bottom lane.
Absolutely, and speaking of towers dropping left and right, that bot lane did just get pushed up by that Beatrix. Now, even though Beatrix did get nerfed in this patch, Beatrix is still showing out that that nerf does not matter. Speaking of pickoffs.
Blood Ode going in from the Alice, and Mirror's passing as well. Bricky's getting a kill on to Warrior, and then able to get out with that flowing blood on the Alice. But you are seeing Human Bird in a tricky situation. You see Sai trying to wind up to finish him off. That is 3 members down for the side of Demigods, and none for the side of Blacklist, as you are seeing Cute kind of push in this tower, the inner turret for the bottom lane, leaving them down to that inhibitor for the bottom side. But while this is happening, Leomord with a direct response as well, gonna take another turret. Now they are down to their inhibitors on the top and the bottom lane for the side of Demigods, and a lot of pressure for the side of Blacklist.
Absolutely, and keep in mind now, I just want you guys to focus on the marksmen real quick. Leslie is a single target damaged marksman, but on that Beatrix with that bombs, those SMG, even though she has like many options to be able to prioritize who she wants to hit. And with that being said, that Beatrix actually ends up being up towards the gold lead compared to that Leslie. And even though that Beatrix did get picked off pretty early, not even a minute through, we can already see that sustain coming in with that Hawes Claws, and now into that Hunter Strike, probably by that Beatrix. And that Leslie has now just picked up 3 core items, and by that Lord, and Blacklist just picked up that Lord. And now that Lord will probably be marching down either top or bot, but I'm going to be guessing top. Yeah, okay. So that Lord's going to be marching down top. Now Demigod, what Demigod has to do now is to look for these small mistakes, and we've talked about this many times in our live streams. Small mistakes can absolutely turn over an entire game. And now, even though they're trying to do pickups, oh, now speaking of pickups, that Beatrix did get pushed, that their main marksman dealer, and followed up by that Leslie did pick off that Alice, and comes in with a double kill by that Leslie onto that Leomord.
You are seeing the ultimate sniper go in as well, and you were talking about those mistakes, waiting for the overaggression of Blacklist to come into play, and that is exactly what they did. We were wondering exactly how Human Bird would kind of play into this composition, but using that fist crack in the right moment, able to get a double set, taking out 2 members of Blacklist, was a huge play for the side of Demigods, kind of keeping them in this game as they are losing these turrets, and right now fighting an uphill battle as Blacklist is preparing for the early finish.
Absolutely, and now this gives Demigods a very big chance to be able to push up those turrets, sink those lanes, and at least put a little bit of pressure towards every single lane to see if they can do anything with the side of Blacklist. And with those mistakes being made, they did pick off that side, they did pick off that jungler, they did pick off the marksman, but now keep in mind, everyone on the side of Demigods was alive. So now this gives a chance for Demigods to be able to snowball just a little bit. And now if you look at their gold, they did just catch up with gold after killing those 3 main important people. And now this puts Blacklist in a little bit of a tough situation now, because they now are going to know, hey, we got to group up, no more mistakes. Now we're going to have to put our heads together, because Demigods, all Demigods is doing right now is looking for the smallest mistakes. Even though they do have their damage dealers, and they both have very strong actually sides, and they do have good mages, they gotta be careful, because although they do have good teammates, at any point, if one small mistake is made, everything was just gonna snowball, and depending on that mistake determines, in my opinion, who wins for this match so far. But it is, I think it's too early to tell. There's only a 2k gold lead by the side of Demigods. And speaking of pickoffs,
you do see both snipers out, Raynor versus Leslie on the ultimate sniper, but the question is whose team has a little bit more firepower. Hisu getting a kill on to Kasha. Down goes Warrior. That will be an advantage on to the side of Blacklist as Beatrix gets a kill as well. A double kill taking out Norbit and also taking down Leslie. Man, oh man, what a play. That is 2 members left on the side of Demigods to try and defend against the full team of Blacklist. Speaking of defense though, Looking at Human Bird with a little bit of a split push, but not sure if that was the right answer. Rookie's over there with that Blood Ode is going to try and keep him from recalling, realizing that Bombshell's left there to defend by himself. Hizu and Sai maintaining pressure, trying to take this inhibitor. Human Bird kind of being chased down, and a little bit of slowage over there. You do see the flowing blood again from Brookies, but not going to go ahead and proc in for that teleport. But while this is all happening, you are seeing Akihiko focusing on what's important. Taking that Luminous Lord, which will create the opportunity for the side of Blacklist to possibly close this game out with the early finish. Speaking of closeouts, though, you do see the the Wild Charge connecting for the knockup, and down goes Hisu in that process, though. And that is one member down for the side of Blacklist. Not only one member, but their mage, their Valir, with that frontline sustainability of that burst fireball to work in their favor. And now the question is, how will they kind of progress with this Lord on their side? A lot of teams kind of make the mistake of getting the Luminous Lord but not seeking the lanes. And when you don't do that, you allow a team like Demigods to kind of burst that Lord down without much contest or having to worry about other lanes. And that's exactly what we're going to see right here, as they failed to kind of clear that top side. And now look at the Lord crashing into the inhibitor. Down it goes, but down goes Lord in the process as well. Immortality being picked up by Beatrix, kind of back there with Rainer's Empathy, trying to get a possible snipe. But wait a minute, you are seeing a possible push on the bottom side from Brookie. He's going to go ahead and use that flowing blood to try and do some damage. But they were able to take something off this trade. They took the mid inhibitor, definitely a good trade for the side of Blacklist, but Demigods putting on some defense right now, and I'm wondering how this is going to kind of play out as they are progressing, doing this little dance, waiting to go into the 5v5 clash from both sides. They are able to take another inhibitor on that top side. Beatrix, Cute actually able to steal that, and now they only have one inhibitor at their disposal for the side of Demigods. Speaking of disposal, though, Shadow Stampede going in, a wild charge over there by Grok, the fist crack by, but dang, Beatrix taking out Fredrin. But wait a minute, Side taking some serious damage. Minions are pushing into the Nexus. The question is, who's going to take this game? Fist crack activated by Badang to get a double kill, proccing 2 immortalities. Not able to get the kill, the ultimate sniper out by Leslie, trying to finish them off. And now you're seeing Blacklist on the full retreat. And this is what we kind of said about Human Bird, right? Right place at the right time, use that fist crack, set the team up, and have them on the run. And oh my goodness, if Human Bird was not there, that would have been a possible game winner for the side of Blacklist.
Absolutely. And I just want to focus on that Badang. 202. Absolutely good sustain by that Badang against that Alice. Has not lost lane for about 10 minutes until that marksman did end up rotating. Now, if you look at the builds here, everyone is almost at their peak builds right now, except for that Leslie and that Kaja. I mean, that Beatrice is already full rushed in. I mean, it's just, honestly, at this point, it's all mattered about team fights, pickoffs, mistakes, and that. And going back to what you were saying about that Lord, like what you said, Wheezy, usually when you get a Lord, it's not about trying to get the Lord to their base as fast as possible. It's actually trying to sync all 3 lanes and pushing them down at the same time to try to take down all 3 inhibitors. And speaking of pickoffs, Weezy.
Oh, you do see a little bit of misplacement from the side of Blacklist. Bombshell getting a kill on it. Hisu comboed with that Divine Judgment on Warrior with that Kaja. Definitely some supreme micro from Kaja to kind of set up that kill. But speaking of setup, you do see Lord going down to half health. And right now, Akihiko is going to possibly get that retribution. But wait a minute! Shadow Stampede activated, Warrior on the defense, trying to hold Akihiko back from the retribution. Shut down. You do see Leslie getting a kill on the beach. Akihiko getting a kill as well. Brookie's getting a kill on the Badang, but Brookie's also getting a kill on to the Lord. Bombshell getting a kill on to Akihiko. Oh my goodness! They are just clashing it out, but Immortality was procced by Brookies and Leslie to finish her off. But man, oh man, the Lord went into the hands of Blacklist. Even though they lost 4 members, they took that objective. And now you're wondering, if you are the side of Demigods, where do you go from here? Yeah, we took out a lot of members. They got about a little bit of a 20-30 second cooldown rate, and they took Lord. So most they can really do right now is prep for another engagement. Kind of push up these lanes. That way they can have an easier time bursting down this Lord while they do have the numbers on their side.
Absolutely. This is like the biggest upper hand advantage right now by the side of Demigods. Their marksman's still up, and the side of Blacklist, marksman is down. So with that being said, there's going to be no burst damage or burst true damage coming from either sides, except for Demigods. Now, like you said, they are able to burst down that Lord, but it did buy Blacklist just a little bit of time to be able to do something here. And speaking of pickoffs,
You see Leslie taking out Hisu again, grabbed by that Divine Judgment on Warrior. That's the same situation we've seen on the bottom lane. Ring of Order going out by Warrior as well. A big role to play on the side of Kaja. Double kill into the hands of Leslie, taking out Beatrix, the marksman for Blacklist. Wait a minute! A triple kill, and down goes Akihiko. And ladies and gentlemen, we are seeing a turnaround from Demigods right now, trying to close this game out. Speaking of close out, those Side taking some serious damage, but Brookie's on the defense. Gonna go ahead and peel for Side to escape, but down goes the Guardian's Barrier, which is gonna trap his member in. Brookie's not able to escape, getting taunted by Fredrin, using the suppression, the Winter Truncheon in full effect, and then comboed with Bombshell on the Appraiser's Wrath. Down goes the Alice to the Fredrin, and that is a wipeout for the entire team of Blacklist, clearing up this lane for Demigods to go for the finish, as their first member will be spawning in 6 seconds, but not enough to kind of hold them off, as that is going to only be Valir. But in their defense, they do have Beatrix coming back in 8 seconds. But man, oh man, is this map opening up for the side of Demigods.
absolutely. And now we already know Leslie is a very late scaling hero. So with that being said, Leslie's is going to end up one-shotting or two-shotting at this point any single person on the team that are extremely squishy. And I don't know if you guys saw when that fight was happening in that mid lane, Leslie two-shotted a Leomord with basic true damage attack. I think that's insane. And I'm pretty sure Leslie built 2 Blade of Despairs into a Heptases the last time that I saw her build. So she's already, so she did build the Blade of Heptases. Now, the double BOD is actually very, very scary on Leslie, as she scales like beautifully late game. And now Beatrix is also very good sustain. I mean, she has that Hawes Claw, she has that Hunter Strike for movement speed and that mobility, but she's actually going to end up falling off. And like I said, even if Beatrix were to build Wind of Nature here, it's not going to actually block any true pure damage that's going to come from Leslie. And with that buff that happened on Leslie a few patches ago, it's going to be kind of impossible for that Beatrix to be able to defend that Leslie. And if you look here on the side of Demigods, that Leslie is always in good position. And speaking of pickoffs,
You see both teams kind of clashing in for this Lord. A little bit of a misplaced wild charge over there by Sai, but Bombshell kind of taking advantage of it. Leslie getting a kill on to Brookies in that situation. That'll be 1 member down for the side of Blacklist. And oh my goodness, their HP is super low. You do see the Searing Turret over there by Valir to kind of push off the team of Demigods from securing that kill, but that is going to possibly open up the opportunity for them to start this Lord. But they are going to go ahead and regroup, possibly get some health. And right now, same thing for Blacklist, but the difference, actually no difference, as both of them are missing a member on their side. Human Bird is down, but also Brookies is down in that process, and you are seeing this Lord zoned by Demigods right now. Looks like Blacklist on the chase, still trying to rush it for a retribution play, not able to get in time, and down goes Lord into the hands of the unknown sniper, DG, the Leslie. Speaking of plays, though, Immortality procced by Warrior. A little bit of Wesker aiming, trying to get the snipe. Akihiko finishing off Warrior with the Shadow Stampede, and that'll be 1 member down. But they do have Lord to work in their favor for the side of Demigods.
absolutely. And now, even with that Lord, though, on the side of Demigods, Blacklist actually has to be very careful on how they decide to execute with this, because that Leslie is now 12-3-5. Mind you, she was just like 2-1-2 something, or whatever the KDA was, like 10 minutes into the game. So now with that being said, that Leslie is like the only hope for Demigods to actually push through, because like they said, even though that mage, that Lilia with that burst mage is going to come through along with that Badang, it's not enough to actually burst down anybody on Blacklist, because they're all pretty heavy. But speaking of dying and those pick-offs, that Lord actually did get taken down pretty quickly by the side of Blacklist. Now, mind you guys, this is about to go into a 25-minute game now, and both sides are pretty tight right now. Turrets are on the favor, actually, of Blacklist, though, but we already see the mid lane wide open for both Demigods and Blacklist, so there's no inhibitor turrets currently up for both sides down the mid lane. And speaking of pickoffs,
oh my goodness, a bush play, able to secure a kill on to the sniper. Down goes the marksman for the side of Demigods. This is definitely a fight Blacklist wants to take. You do see Blood Oath going in from Alice right now, who will win this trade. Oh my goodness, Immortality proccing by Norbit. You You do see Alice on the chase, still killing spree by Akihiko, taking out Norbert, but in the same time, Norbert taking him down. Brookie's getting a kill as well, and that is going to be all members down, minus Bombshell to try and defend against the full team of Blacklist, minus Akihiko. And ladies and gentlemen, they are going to take down the Nexus and continue their wins as the Kings of the Hill, and that is the 3rd game in a row that they have taken.
Absolutely. And I think this is one of the most longest matches that we had. Am I right, Weezy? Or am I wrong?
I think that might be history in the making. I don't think we've had a 25-minute game before. And we kind of talked about this between these two teams. Their capability to kind of drive it out, high macro movements, and also high micro as well. Definitely was a fight to see from both of these teams. I'm scared to see how a best of 3 would turn out, as that was kind of neck and neck for both sides. That was down to the final clash, and unfortunately with DG getting picked off on that Leslie from that smart bush play over there by Akihiko with that Shadow Stampede, kind of closed the game, giving them an advantage in terms of range damage, as they had Beatrix to kind of shine, especially with DG being out of the playing field. We didn't really see too much of Human Bird on this last engagement either, not really able to get in position for that fish crack. But let's go ahead and take a look at the data.
Absolutely. And now I'm already chuckling at that Leslie's damage. 36% damage. Like, I just want you guys to look at that Kaja, that Fredrin, that Badang, and that Lilia. None of them hit 20%. And that Leslie did put in all that damage. And on the side of Blacklist, looks like the scores are, or for the percentage for the hero damage, is kind of evened out. And that's what I do expect to see from all of those members. Definitely that Valir, though. That Valir was very annoying for the side of Demigods. I'm pretty sure that Demigods had a very uninvited invitation by the side of Blacklist with that Valir pick. And with that, a lot of CC, it prevents that Leslie from being able to be too mobile early game, which caused Leslie to kind of fall back during like the first 10 minutes of the game. But like I said earlier, that Leslie did try to scale up, and she did, but eventually fell off with that team fight. Unfortunately, that happened that bot by that red buff, and win is very well deserved to the side of Blacklist. Good game, guys.
A good game indeed, and Blacklist on the rise. The heat has been turned up every single level of this ladder, and they're continuing to climb. Man, oh man, that was definitely a team I expected to possibly close it out and snatch that crown, but to take out a team such as Demigods, team from the Wild Wild West, who's been known to kind of knock these titles away from these veteran teams, it's interesting to see. And now Blacklist with 3 wins in a row. They only need 1 more to tie the record with Nefarious for 4 wins in a row. Now, we do know the highest ever in King of the Hill was Ackerman with 7. So the question is, can the side of Blacklist continue to climb those heights and take a new record as we go forward? That's right, this is not the end, as there's multiple teams still ready to try and claim that crown. Today is King of the Hill, and the rules are simple. First come, first serve, best of 1. Winning team stays on every Monday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Grab some popcorn, get some drinks, and be right back with you guys as Blacklist is on fire.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, honey bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
Loved you from the first time you called me lame. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah, always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah, with you the summer came and went in a day, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget, and I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget, yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah. Woo! When you're miles away, yeah, you can make it shine when the whole world rains. Always on my mind, always in my brain. With you the days are long and the nights are late, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Ooh, and I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget, and I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah. Forget anyway, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Land of the Dawn, and today we have another banger as Blacklist is taking their third win, taking out the Demigods. Not only the Demigods, but they were also able to take out Dark Immortals and the Elite 10. They're on the rise, and they are definitely on fire. But now, a new challenger has appeared, a top 32 in a team going by the name of Mama's Eggs, also known as Huevo, to jump into this. Speaking about jumping into things, we are running King of the Hill tonight, and the rules are simple. It is a first come, first serve, best of one. Winning team stays on every Monday and Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Now, a little bit of a look at what we are going to see going forward. We are seeing Blacklist, the rising kings of the hills, going up against the top 32 team, Huevo, and we'll be having some Amazer casters on the desk to kind of paint that picture, as we have Coach Deku over on the play-by-play, and also Eunice for the analyst.
Absolutely, Weezy. Thank you for the introductions there. Introductions for Blacklist and Huevo off the table. I don't think we have to say too much about the side of Huevo. I heard you guys talking about him, giving him that healthy slander, but now Blacklist, right, proving themselves in the MLSA right now, especially in the King of the Hill tonight. I think we counted 3 wins so far for them, 2 or 3 wins. They're kind of on a roll right now. Looking to add to it up against Huevo. Something that we would like to see is Huevo potentially bounce back. They have been struggling recently in the MLSA, not getting too many wins in that W column, but looking to potentially polish it up maybe get back to what made them one of the top teams when the MLSA first opened up and first started. But time will tell, the story will develop, as we will see both of these teams face off in this next King of the Hill.
Absolutely, and now let's move on to the drafting phase. Looks like both teams have already picked up 3 heroes and already banned out the first 6 prio picks. On the side of Blacklist, they did ban out that Valentina, that Lapun, that Carmilla, and the side of Huevo, they did ban out that Leomore, Joy, and Fanny. Now, looking at these picks so far already, that Faramis into that Hilda, into that Beatrix. And for the side of Huevo, they did pick up that Glue, that Xavier, and that Akai. Now, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the patch that just came out. Xavier, 3 core items, and y'all are dead. Because they did buff his skills, and knowing that some of the mage items did get buffed and a little bit adjusted, that Xavier might struggle just a bit early game, because obviously he is not as a versatile mage than you think he is. But with that, he has one of the most annoying CCs for sure. But that Xavier will definitely be an issue for the side of Blacklist. I mean, that Xavier has that ult that can beam through any point of the map, any side of the map. As long as that ult hits any one of them towards the late game, probably might be an issue. We do see that the Atlas and the Claude getting banned by the side of Blacklist, and we do see the Diggy and the Haya getting banned. I have not seen a Haya ban in a very long time. But they did pick up that Beatrix, and they actually, side of Huevo, picked up Hanabi. Now, mind you, Hanabi did also get buffed and revamped, so her skills are completely different now. If you guys aren't kept up with her skills, they completely changed up all her skills. So it might be a very different gameplay for the people who are watching for the first time without reading patch notes. But that Lunox did get picked up by the side of Blacklist with that Baksha. I have not seen a Baksha jungle in a very long time, actually. I haven't seen him in a very long time. And I do see that it's going to be an Akai jungle, but big problem as for CC control in the side of Blacklist.
Definitely, and I mean, we're seeing a lot of picks, like you pointed out. Some of those newer ones, the Boxia coming back into play over here by the side of Blacklist, but not surprising there. Boxia has been picked up a little bit over by their counterpart Blacklist over there in Jakarta. He did receive a couple buffs as well recently, nothing too major, but something to add in a little bit. So they're going to go ahead and use that ahead of tonight. Hilda being picked up recently here and there. Glue is actually a comfort pick amongst the Huevo members. It just hasn't been used. Obviously, he wasn't in a good spot. And right now, he did get a recent buff as well, a little more damage to that skill 1 when he slams into those glue puddles to go ahead and explode and do a little extra damage. We don't know currently where that's going to put him, but this will be the first show we'll get to see him after these buffs. He's had a couple buffs here and there along the recent seasons and some of these patches. And I think maybe 1 or 2 nerfs. So on an upwards path as far as the growth of the character of Glue. So it'll be interesting to see. And of course, Hanabi, like you pointed out, being buffed as well. So we have a lot of new champs, a lot of buffs and nerfs out here that we're going to get to see for the first time in between these 2 teams in the MLSA. So it'll be great to see how these new champs kind of fare and interact out here in the Land of Dawn.
Absolutely, and I'm actually kind of curious on how the Hanabi is going to lane against that Beatrix. Now, before Hanabi got revamped, everyone knew she was kind of a very bad marksman. But now with that buff, I mean, Hanabi is actually not that bad from what I've heard from the ML community here. And speaking of pickoffs, that Hilda just got picked off by the side of Huevo. And Huevo did a very good pickoff with that Glue, so a little bit of a disadvantage now for the side of Blacklist. But looks like as of now, I don't see major struggling happening at bot lane against that Beatrix and Hanabi. They're kind of both at equal health right now, surprisingly. But looks like there's going to be a little bit of an invasion by the side of Blacklist.
Definitely a return invasion, but Akai gonna get caught out here, gonna get stunned in the jungle by Boxia. It was a return invade. He lost the red buff on the top side from Boxia, but the return coming in quick now. Akio on the charge with this Boxia, might get caught out in uncomfortable position, gonna roll back here as Belric is potentially looking to kill before the recall. It's gonna get taken though, throwing off the taunt, gonna miss, and now the disengage with Blacklist doing a good job, and that's just that mobility from Boxy, being able to go for that invade, and then not only steal the red buff, but come back and secure his own red buff and a kill on Bees here on the Akai.
Absolutely. And now, oh, nice flicker by the side of Bellaric. I mean, that if he did not flicker there, he would have probably died. But if we just look back here, looking at all lanes, they look pretty okay right now. Neutral Objective Turtle has just came up right now. Looks like it might go into the side of Blacklist if that Bosch is able to clear off that blue pretty fast, but Akai also has advantage of that as well. Looks like they're just starting to go towards that turtle. And speaking of pickoffs,
Brookies doing a good rotation there ahead of that turtle, able to find the marksman, but on the opposite side, Daizu doing a good job with the Dawning Light, gonna find a member. Slimmy gonna trade that out and find OnlyFans, doesn't like the content he's seen on the platform, gonna cancel his subscription. Is now the split coming in from Reed on the glue. Is going to connect, going to find a member. They're going to take the kill and kill the jungler down from the side of Blacklist, but the trade back from Brookies, who was rotated back up from the gold lane and found a kill on both sides of the map. They're going to even equalize that trade, actually put the trade in their favor, as Blacklist is now up 4-3 on that board.
absolutely. But also that neutral Objective Turtle is actually still up. Both junglers have actually died within that team comp, so but looks like it's going to be in the hands of Blacklist. That turtle is probably going to get picked up by the side of Blacklist. Looks like Hilda's struggling just a little bit, but looks like she is... Oh, she did get saved by that Fairy Miss ult. Baksha did pick up that turtle, so now that laning phase will now start to snowball. Now looking at the gold lead here, Blacklist is just at a 2k gold lead ahead from Huevo. No major items yet, but I do see a little bit of a semi-core item coming in from the side of the marksman, and for the same for Hanabi, but I do not remember what that item is called. It is a new item, I think some crossbow for sure, but it is a very, very well-known item now that everyone is just starting to use and re-edit their builds now for just any marksman now. And speaking of pickoffs,
speaking of Reed, looking to find Hilda there, but in the bot side, a major clash ahead of us. Akai, Master of the Beast, trying to land that knock up there, but Reed with a split. Like we said off camera, they're trying to find Slimmy, missing the mark. Is going to get taken down here in between Brookies and this Hilda. Killing spree in the hands of Lennox now, though, for him, with the Shadow Stampede being caught in an uncomfortable position. Akai going to land that knock up and secure that kill. Boxia a little too late on the return rotation. The damage has already been done. Huevo finding a mark there in that bot side in the gold lane there, but Hilda getting it done on the top side. An unorthodox and unconventional matchup between Hilda and Glue, but Hilda coming out on top right now.
absolutely. And looks like I'm actually surprised by the laning phase that's going on in that bot lane with that Hanabi and the Beatrix. That Hanabi is actually sustaining very, very well against that Beatrix. And we all know that Beatrix with her machine gun and her bombs, she actually has advantage over wave clear. So very interesting sight to see by the side of Huevo. And speaking of pickoffs,
we're seeing the heavy spin get used on Akai, or on Boxia there. Might have been unwise. He is a tank jungler. Cult Alter going to be forced out here as Reed is looking for a play. The split has been activated, looking to potentially latch on to Hilda. Does find Hilda here, going to pull him over into the tower, but Shadow Stampede going to return, trying to find a mark and immobilize, forcing out the Vengeance Dawning Light, doing good damage from Daizu. Akai going to find the kill on Hilda there, also going to find the kill on Paramus, as we do see the background dive from the Boxia, but with his team dead, he's all alone, going to get taken out. And then in the gold lane, Yukinon going to get taken out though by the side of Huevo's. Blacklist finds the trade somewhere on the map, and now can pressure in on this gold lane potentially.
Absolutely. Now, very questionable trade-off actually, because the side of Blacklist, they did just lose their, who was it? Their jungler and their side and their roam. I'm guessing that Faramis, Hilda, and that Baksha, but that Lunox actually ended up ganking was it bot lane? I'm pretty sure. But speaking of pickoffs, the turtle did get actually stolen by Hanabi, shutting down that Akai in that process. So now Blacklist has a little bit of an advantage as of now because the jungler is actually dead and got a shutdown gold on that as well. But the turtle's actually fallen in the hands of the favor of Huevo.
Falling into the favor of Huevo, and we just saw that Blade of Despair get picked up by this Beatrix, though, in the gold lane. Currently have a little bit of an edge over Yukino. He's having a little hard time, but to be expected, right? Has the scaling, needs to reach the late game to really unlock that full potential. But right now, Huevo grouping up to potentially go for this gold lane push, maybe a response to some of these ganks that's been going on. We see the Conceal coming in, Naru's Passion, not going to be able to clear that cannon minion though, and now Yukinon and company are looking to take down this tower, maybe go for the retreat. They actually can smell the engage here. The Cult Ult are coming out, but too late here. A lot of ultimates, Bendit's Rage coming out, but the members of Huevo have already wisely disengaged there, not going to fall for another gank. Did a little bit of damage there, almost secured that tower, but now they are currently getting pinched in for Rammus. Right now, currently being checked up by OnlyFans here. Shadow Stampede going to do a little bit of a pull box here, finding his way into the back line. Going to stun Daizu here in the background, but the Wrath of Dyrod followed up by the 3-man Dawning Light is going to secure a lot of members, as Yukinos going to find a shutdown on Brookies. Boxy is going to try to trade that out, going to find the Belleric there. Double kill falling to the hands of Master B's. Huevo on a tear, forcing out the Vengeance from Shimmy. He's the last man standing in this bot side engage. A triple kill going to the Fat Man in the jungle. That's a wipeout for all the members of Blacklist, and Huevo now on the response, on the tear, and on the offensive.
Absolutely, and like I mentioned, guys, when I first started this drafting phase, I told you that Xavier is actually going to be a big issue for the side of Blacklist. Not because that he lacks damage early game, that's not the issue here. The CC that Xavier is giving, that good distance CC, mind you, Xavier's range actually increases with the skill that he does, with his first skill. So the more minions or the more heroes he hits, his first skill will actually start popping out and being able to be ranged out more than without stacks. And now he's actually hasn't died yet with all those assists on his hand, but that lord did get picked up by that Akai for the side of Huevo. Speaking of pickoffs,
we are seeing Beatrix already being taken out by Glue. Ree doing a good job of finding the members, but Shadow Stampede going to pull 2 members of Huevo. OnlyFans dangerously low is going to get taken out. Bees with a knockout trying to disengage. Ree finding a member, finding Brookies, finding the Lennox, pulling him into the tower, doing a lot of damage, immobilizing, and the Glue Dawning Light going to connect as well, and Ree going to go ahead and finish off that kill on Brookies, facilitated by Daizu on that background. Heavy artillery maze there. The Dawning Light's coming into play. Like you said, 1, 0, and 11, obviously a critical factor. 13 kills involved by Daizu out of the 14 from Huevo, so definitely all over the place. And I mean, you can see it on the replays here. Check the setup, the Flicker, Wrath, the Dyrods, and the Dawning Light going to find 3 members there and quickly get wiped out off the damage from Daizu there. Huevo able to take these fights, take these wins coming in from that artillery that is provided from the mid laner of Huevo, doing a great job of setting up these plays and entering in that damage, and we're seeing it time and time again. Speaking of damage, another engage in the jungle, potentially. Finish Rage coming out right now from the side of Blacklist. They are looking for the attack. Heavy spin and Wrath Dyrod being put into play. Dawning Light going to find 2 members there. The re-engage from Master B is going to force the Colts alter from for Rammus. They're getting dropped dangerously low. Reed doing a good job in the background there. Hilda, I can't say the same, as he will get forced back with the Vengeance. Reed with the split is going to find for Rammus. No Coulter intact, so he can get taken out here if the damage comes through. He is going to find that kill, and Reed, we do know with the Glue, when you find a kill, you're able to reset the IM split. He is able to disappear, not going to get taken out. A 1-for-0 clean trade for the side of Huevo right now. They are putting on the pressure, putting on the advantage. Bees trying to find this red buff potentially. Daizu, we saw the Dawning Light on Hilda. They're able to secure that kill. The mobilization on Lennox. Daizu doing a lot of damage with the Xavier in this prolonged team fight, able to put a lot of pressure on them. Another immobilizer. Daizu just can't miss with the skill shots right now, and that's what you want to see if you're playing Xavier for the side of Huevo.
Absolutely, and with that being said, Xavier is actually, it can be played very differently. And before we get to that, I just want to let you guys know that there is only 2 items picked up by Xavier. It's just a clog and a book. And now he's already doing decent damage, is being able to scale. The Beatrix is already scaling as well. The Hilda, I would look for more defense to be able to give that sustain for the side of Blacklist, but so far everything's looking okay. The Lunox does have a lot of damage right now. Did pick up that lightning, is probably not building into maybe a divine or whatever burst magic pen that is going to be in the side of Blacklist. Now Xavier here can be used very differently. It can either be, oh, speaking of pickoffs, that Fairness just did get picked off at that Lord fight, and as well that box did get picked off, which means the Lord is going to be in the hands of Huevo. That Akai is still up, Retri is still up. So very, very nice play by the side of Huevo.
Absolutely, and we're seeing the side of Blacklist not going to give it up, though. They're getting an inch from Huevo off the zoning. They're going to take a mile. Flicker, Ruby, DD coming in from this Lennox on the backline, finding Yukin on him. Hanabi going to take him down, but Donning Light going to take Brookies, D'Angelo, both mages very low. Hilda smelling blood in the water, but Master B is going to find that Lord in the midst of all that. Beatrix going to take out the Belleric there ahead of that. Slimmies, like we said, in that background, did find Daizu low. Cult Alter here as Ree is looking for the backline play here. He's looking for the split. He's looking for anyone to pick off here, but now looking like he might have got picked off himself. The split has been activated as he is looking for the disengage. Might be able to pick up a member if he chooses to. Hilda does have all the stacks, same with Lennox, but he's not going to go for it. There is no damage intact. It's just a glue. It's just an Akai, and Blacklist knows this as they are looking to potentially push up this mid lane ahead of this Lord coming in from the side of Huevo.
Yeah, that Blacklist did try to push up that mid, but unfortunately, that for the side of Blacklist, was very able to defend that mid lane. Now, gold is still very tight, not too much of a difference, but there is a gold lead by the side of Huevo. Now, the prime damage item has been picked up for the side of Xavier. Speaking of pickoffs,
we do see Lennox finding the marksman there before going out in the fight. Reed in the background yet again on the glue. I mean, what a battle between these XP laners. They're both in the background right now with Slimmy's gonna find Daizu, gonna take out the Dawning Light. Xavier out of play from the side of Huevo, a key component for their damage, and they're gonna have to disengage here as they no longer have that heavy artillery, that heavy magic damage. And Blacklist doing a good job, right, of finding the members that they need to. Hilda able to secure that background kill. And you can see it here even. Both mages getting taken long. If you see on the bottom screen of this replay, Hilda knowing there's someone in the back line. D'Angelo knows Daizu has been a force in this team fight, chasing him all the way to the tier 3 and picking up that kill. Both members, and you see Ree there doing the exact same. All of them in the back line. This entire matchup back and forth is basically coming down to who can get it done. Speaking of things going down, though, in the bot side, Wrath of Dire coming down. The Dawning Light from the base. Daizu going to find the kill. Belleric going to go ahead and get taken out by this box. He hears a shutdown comes in the hands of Hilda as he will take out the Akai. Daizu trying to provide the assistance, but ultimately Huevo losing the trade 1 for 2, but still doing his part, right? Doing her part. The Xavier definitely coming in, trying to do what she can to help the side of Huevo, but Blacklist obviously looking to go ahead and turn the tides. They were kind of playing on the back end. Now they're looking to potentially clean it up. They need to get these towers, and specifically that mid lane.
Absolutely. They need to get the mid lane in order to open up more vision, open up more free space for Blacklist to kind of mess around with. And with that mid lane turret being up, they're actually pretty limited to when they do their team fights. Now, usually when that mid lane is down, they're able to give very good team fights in that mid lane since it is very free space for both sides. But speaking of that free space, it looks like Blacklist is actually gonna go ahead and take that down, which leads to a 4-3 turret trade by Blacklist compared to Huevo. So Blacklist does have a upper advantage with turrets, as just one tower ahead compared to Huevo. Now, speaking of that Xavier, though, going back to what I was saying earlier, Xavier can be played two different ways: very aggressive mage or a very controlling CC hero from the backline. Xavier doesn't really need to have too much damage early game, actually. As long as he can CC any member for the side of Blacklist, it is an automatic, beautiful set. And speaking of pickoffs,
we are seeing those back laners from the XP. Hilda finding a kill. Master B's though gonna find Brookies, the mage for Blacklist. Beatrix is also gonna take out Ree, who might have overdid his stay. Dawning Light coming from Daizu, dropping out that box here dangerously low there, but Blacklist still holding the advantage here. A 2-for-0 trade in their favor ahead of this enhanced Luminous Lord here, and Blacklist gonna go ahead and take their attention over to it. Their jungler is still around right now. Both junglers up, but obviously number advantage in the side of Blacklist. Map pressure as well, as they are gonna go ahead and start this up. The members are aware that they have the advantage, but the conceal, the call has been called in from Huevo to go ahead and go for this. OnlyFans a little too far ahead, but the knockup from Lord going to enable him for that rapid dive while Dawning Light going to pop the immortality of this Faramus here. Lord still going to take him down. Beatrix going to go ahead and secure the Kai. Too late, but Hilda not too late to take out Daizu there, the mage, and now Master of Bees getting caught out as he did overextend, trying to secure that Lord, didn't find it. That's 2 members down for the side of Huevo on a failed attempt to make the play to go ahead and steal that Lord, and now Blacklist in a great position to potentially close out this match.
Yeah, unfortunately for the side of Huevo, that Akai Retro just came in a little too late, and that Beatrix got the upper hand to very well secure that Lord. Now we just need to see if the side of Blacklist can definitely sync those lanes up. And Huevo now, all they have to do is look for the smallest mistake, and as soon as they see that pickoff, we'll definitely be able to snowball from there. And speaking of pickoffs, Deku,
we're seeing Ree in the dawning light from Daizu from the inhibitor, gonna find the Beatrix. It's a man down from the side of Blacklist there for Rammus, though. Able to find a trade on Ree, but that's a marksman down for an XP laner. You'll take that any time of the day if you're Huevo right now on the defensive only fans, trying to catch out Brookie's here. Brookie's gonna go in for the Ruby DD, not gonna find any kill, a little bit of damage, but the inhibitor does fall down. They've cracked the base on the side of Huevo here. All three inhibitors are down. Blacklist still posturing around, not sure if they'll go for the end, but it looks like they're going to make the call to disengage as Huevo is on the offensive now that they have defended this wave in the mobilization. Sentry going out to give vision in the jungle. We do see Belair trying to posture around, providing some vision as well, as Blacklist has decided to go ahead and cross back over to their side of the map.
Absolutely. And with that being said, honestly, I think a lot of pressure is actually going to be put on the Xavier, because now the Xavier is picking up those very, very big core items. Now that lightning into that divine, and I think now he's actually building defense for that Beatrix and that Baksha when they do end up being able to go up in his face and say no thank you. But Xavier will very, very well counter that by being to be able to build Antique into that build. That Beatrix is now at full build. Everyone's pretty much at full build. That Faramis just needs one more item to be able to catch up with everybody else, and that Akai and that Bellaric definitely needs to get at least an item or two in to be able to give a little bit more sustain for the side of Huevo.
Speaking of sustained, cold doors are being forced out. Dawning Light going to come and burst it down. The Rapidaris in play for Rammus, kind of uncomfortable position. Going to get taken out by Yukino on this Hanabi. Lunox on the run as well, but Ree not looking to give up here as Brookies doesn't have that life ult anymore. Ree going to keep going in the 1v4. Going to pop the MO in between them, but not going to find the kill. Beatrix is going to take Ree down. That's not what you want to see. Ree may have been a little too ambitious, not able to pick up that kill for Huevo, and just going to get taken out right there. And that's a number advantage for the side of Blacklist. And before this Lord, I don't know if that was the proper call to go for. You already burnt out that for Rammus, but he was going to spawn back in time. So even taking that kill didn't really give him the advantage they were hoping for, as the passive of Rammus allows him back on the map, as you can see now. Now Ree leaving Huevo in an uncomfortable position and an uncomfortable call. Will they go for the Lord, or will they opt for the defense?
I honestly think they'll actually stay back. They are in no way, shape, or form to be actually able to contest that Lord without their glue, their backline peel. Now, that glue needs to be able to peel for that Xavier to be able to CC the entire backline. Now, all Huevo, I am hoping that Huevo can maybe find the smallest mistake from the side of Blacklist to be able to snowball this game. But with that being said, the Lord did fall into the hands of Blacklist, so as long as they were able to sync up those lanes and be able to do a 3-lane clash down to the base of Huevo, they should be able to. Now, I don't want to put too much pressure, like I said earlier, but that Xavier just has to be able to CC all the right members at the right time, and because Huevo, without that Xavier, they completely lack CC. I mean, they do have that Akai and they do have that Bellaric, but where's the damage? I mean, they have that Hanabi, but Hanabi skill sets actually do fall off just a little bit when it comes to team fights here. Wave clear is definitely good by Hanabi, but speaking of wave clear,
we're seeing the team fight come out now. Dawning Light has already entered Wrath of Darth as well. The Dark Ult comes from Lunx, is going to take out OnlyFans, canceling subscription to Blacklist. Double kill in the hands of Lunx, finding Ree. The pin from Master of V's not going to be followed up by the side of Huevo. Members falling left and right for the side of Huevo. Blacklist only losing their marksman so far, but that is a critical component. No DPS. Dawning Light going to find a kill there. Double kill for the side of Huevo. A shutdown, a triple kill in the Daizu hand. The defense immaculate from Daizu, a maniac. Daizu playing like a maniac indeed. Ahead, spinning around and round and round as he's going for the defense, trying to keep Blacklist away, and they will successfully defend that. A great call from the side of Huevo to opt in for the defense and bunker down, putting the game in the hands of Daizu, who's sending out Dawning Lights left and right now, leading the way for Huevo to take this comeback against Blacklist.
Absolutely, like that said, that Huevo, the side of just looked for that small mistake, and they did end up being in their favor. That Xavier, that Daizu was able to get a maniac off of all the side of Blacklist. Now Faramis is just left alone to defend all that by himself, but they do have a minion. That Beatrix is back up, so the wave clear is definitely not there. Looks like Hanabi is actually just tower locking. Oh my goodness, is this end? It is. New King of the Hill champion goes to the side of Huevo. How are you feeling, Deku?
I feel like Blacklist let this match just slip in between their fingers. They had the opportunity, but Huevo, the insane defense put up by Daizu, and you can see it here, was doing it all game. Finding those members, finding the damage, the immobilize there, finding a kill, and 2 members in the CC, lining it up some more, going for the immobilizer again, donning like to take out the Boxia there, getting it done on all ends, taking out Hilda on that overambitious dive. I mean, the game knows it. We know it. As Daizu did pick up the MVP, and rightfully so, leading the way to victory. Definitely the man of the hour, able to lead Huevo into this comeback against Blacklist, and the damage is there. 30% team damage, 85% of the team fight. Definitely the main component for Huevo in all of these fights, even from opposite ends of the map. We've seen Daizu take kills from base, from the inhibitor over to the mid lane. I mean, cross map on the Xavier is absolutely insane, but that's exactly what that Dawning Light provides and what you want to use it for. And Yukon able to pick up those towers with 62% while Daizu's over there handling damage things. Blacklist just couldn't overcome the combo and the defense from this setup of Huevo.
Man, oh man, what a game. But you know what they say, Mama's eggs is a little too hot, and Huevo is on fire, snatching the crown off of Blacklist International. But I gotta give it to Blacklist. 3 wins in a row, taking out Dark Immortals, taking out a lot of teams in the MLSA that kind of been competing for a while. A lot of vet teams, matter of fact. So I will have to give it to them to be able to fight that fight. But they lost their 4th game, which will knock them off of the King of the Hill today. They took out the Elite 10. That was kind of a surprise. Definitely a veteran team. The little revampage of Straw Hats right there as well. Dark Immortals as well. Like I said, a lot of good teams in the MLSA. But Huevo, top 32, just a little too much to handle. That clash was neck and neck, but we definitely have to give it to Daizu over there on that Xavier. Kind of closing it out with that Dawning Light, a laser beam to turn the tide of the battlefield into the hands of Huevo, the new Kings of the Hill. Now the question is, where do we go from here? As there's a new king sitting on the throne, and the question is, who is going to try and take them out? Find out here shortly, as we are going to be progressing through King of the Hill.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, Honey Bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
Loved you from the first time you called me lame. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah, always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah, With you, the summer came and went in a day. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. And I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah. When you're miles away, yeah. You can make it shine when the whole world rains. Always on my mind, always in my brain. With you the days are long and the nights are late. And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Ooh, and I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. Forget anyway, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, honey bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
from the first time you called me lame. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah, always on my mind, always in my brain.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Land of the Dawn. We are the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, and today we have some new Kings of the Hills taking out Blacklist International. That's right, the top 32 team, Mama's Eggs, Huevo, able to snatch off that crown, and now they have a challenger trying to take it from them. And the question is, do they have enough heat, as Mama's Eggs are on fire? We are going to be looking at the side of Dark Immortals going up against Huevo, trying to claim that crown, trying to claim King of the Hill. That's right, today is King of the Hill, and the rules are simple. It is a first come, first serve, best of one. Winning team stays on every Monday and Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And speaking of today's matches, we have two amazing casters to kind of paint that picture and lead the way. We have Deku on the play-by-play, assisted by Rim on the analyst.
Absolutely. Good introductions there, Wheezy. But over, like you said, to Huevo and Dark Immortals. Huevo currently cooking right now. Boiled egg, scrambled egg, poached egg, whatever you want to call them right now. They're cooking, being led by Dazu in that mid lane. An insane Xavier for that comeback win for the side of Huevo in their previous match. But now, up against Dark Immortals, gonna have to look to repeat, maybe a little more clean, right? A little smoother. They were on the back end, able to dig out of that hole, but you would like to see them just start out on a roll early and kind of just transition that all into that mid game and kind of end this stuff a little bit smoother, a little earlier, a little less risk. Not that I'm complaining, the intensity was amazing to see in between those two teams, but the draft is already looking finalized here from both teams, and I can already see a wild pick here. We are seeing that Hanzo be locked in by the side of Huevo, and again, with that glue, and this is, like we said, man, this is just back to that dynamic drafting from Huevo, one of those keys to victory for them. They love to throw it at you any different way they can from all kinds of angles. You really never know what to expect when you're facing Huevo, and that's just one of those things that help them win these matches.
Speaking of things coming at you from different angles, Daizu locking in that Xavier again. And we all know in the previous match, it has been sniping from multiple different angles across the map. Speaking of things being across the map, we have Dark Immortals locking in Franco on that Kufra. So that's something definitely that Yukinon on this, is that carry? She looked a little bit like Leslie there. Yukinon on this carry and Daizu on the Xavier have to watch out for. Don't let him be able to connect with that first skill. Although I do like the side of Huevo's trap. They have a lot of poke. They have the front line. They have the engage. And I'm interested to see how they pull off this Hanzo pick. It's not something that we've seen often in the MLSA. And I know, Dave, if you're watching stream, you're happy to see Hanzo make an appearance. So I'm excited to see how he's going to perform. Speaking of performing, we do see some poke going on Jay in the top lane here. I like what I see. Speaking of poke, some action going on in the bottom lane. Leslie taking some damage there.
Taking some damage, and that's a Claude and a Carry facing off there. Yukinon doing a good job doing that poking. That's something we really got to focus on and speak on, right? Carry is actually a very, very good pick into the Claude. I mean, you can see it now. So Yukinon almost able to edge out and take out Shadowkey, who wanted to get that last cannon minion, a little greedy, almost risking his life for it. But Carry, one of those picks, not recently in the MPL scene, but previously in some of the playoffs ahead of coming into M4 and a little before IESF. Carry with that true damage, right? Claude, we know he likes to go for the Wind of Nature and going with that Blazing Duet, but since this Yukinon, this Carry is all true damage, that play doesn't really work on Carry, and since she also has the durability to kind of withstand against Claude, but speaking of withstand, Reed taking dangerously low on the top side, almost picked off there, but Carry able to kind of dish out that damage even throughout the Blazing Duet and edge out against Shadowkey on this Claude. So a little unfavorable matchup, even with the itemization. Wind of Nature not going to be the saving grace up against Huevo's gold laner. And with all of this damage that they're able to put in and a lot of the CC, it's going to be very hard for Shadowkey to get online with this Claude.
Absolutely, and I like what I'm seeing in terms of rotation coming from the side of Dark Immortals. We know they've been one of those teams that is usually, we know what to expect from them. But they have been putting in the work, and we see the synergy starting to show with these rotations. We see the lane getting cut together. We see them setting up for these turtles, these objectives such as the blue buff and stuff like that. So they're not giving stuff up for free here.
Definitely not giving up stuff for free, but something that is going up for free is that OnlyFans subscription. Again, a sneak peek preview as he is going to get taken down by the members of Dark Immortals. And like you said, the rotations coming in from them, well placed. We've seen them even putting some pressure on that gold lane. Yukino almost being taken out. But speaking of taking out Yukino from the bush and ambush, indeed, going to go ahead and turn on those speedy light wheels to kill out Claude and Franco. Too little, too late there. Not going to be able to save him. Just taking some damage, eating damage from Yukino here, who has went up 1-0 in this gold lane matchup, but a potential gank and a potential invade over here from the side of Huevo as the Brave Fighter stance goes down, but a kill inside of the gold lane. And now Reed about to get taken out. Split almost. Ooh, does connect, is able to avoid death. The Dawning Light, we've seen the combo in the last match, able to pair up and facilitate on this kill as Reed does take down the Carmilla. And now Reed, though, being focused by Jay on this Lapu. Speaking of focus, OnlyFans being caught out again on the Hanzo. Jay gonna get the kill on Reed here, and Fans gonna get taken down again. The Hanzo not profiting right now, 0-2-1. Hasn't found much ground for the side of Huevo, but Dark Immortals finding all the right marks here. They're up 4-2, but still down to the gold lead.
Absolutely. And speaking of leads here, looking at these items, we do see Xavier picking up the Elegant Gem, which is going to help him sustain. We do see a lot of defense items on the side of Huevo in terms of that, the boots that they chose to pick up. The side of Dark Immortals has that CC, so that item is definitely going to help each other. Speaking of help here, they're going to need some.
Not enough, though. Not in time. Yukino already getting taken out as now Master of the Bees on the Akai is being forced, but the Dawning Light from Dies are going to drop members low. Immobilization, not going to find the members. Franco charging up with the Kufa, going to go ahead and disengage. Valentina, though, here on the gank as well, but no action going on as they've already won that fight. Huevo getting pushed around right now in this bot side, but in the top, we are seeing the XP laners contest each other on this cut, and we know Ree is fond of the fights. Hanzo over here looking for a potential invade, but gonna get caught out by this Lapu. Brave Fighter stance plus the flicker. Valentina gonna find him on the exit on the escape route. Not today, as the roadblock is there from the side of Dark Immortals, and man, they are finding Huevo in these uncomfortable positions. And this Hanzo, I mean, I'm unclear on what's supposed to be happening right now. I could tell that he wanted to go for the invade, but up against this lineup, and you've already tried it once, it's just not working. And speaking of once, not only once, but now twice, Carrie has found the solo kill on Claude, and we already mentioned it at the start of this match, right? Carrie able to edge out Claude in the 1v1 matchup, and in the entirety of the game, speaking of matchups, Akai gonna find the turtle still and heavy spin his way out in front of the enemies of Dark Immortals. There, great play by Master of Bees.
Absolutely great play. Speaking of great play, I would love to see the side of Huevo slow down. They know they have a team comp that I don't think these heroes synergize together that well for these invades that they are going for. But as long as they can focus on trying to play more for objective pickups, it's definitely going to help them. Speaking of pickups, Carmilla able to get the pickup on that glue up in the top lane. They have to play smart, be a little more disciplined. If you're going to go for an objective, make it be planned out. Don't just try to invade. They have the momentum going from the last game, so they have to not try to let that get to their head and play this game like we all know they're capable of right now.
And speaking of playing, both teams not playing around. They are in the gold lane. A fight can happen in between these two teams at any moment. As OnlyFans going to get taken down again by this Lapu, but Franco trying to go up on the Kufa, not going to go for the tower dive. It was potential there, but going to hold off Daizu, revealing Franco in that bush, but still going to get caught by the knockup. Tyrant's range going to miss Daizu, though. That's a big set missing from the side of Dark Immortals, though. Valentina looking to potentially make a play there. Going to land the Terrified, but gets caught by the immobilization of Daizu. Nothing going to happen there, but the side of Dark Immortals looking to go ahead and secure this bot side tower. Even with those kill advantages going into the side of Carrie, will ultimately still lose this tower first. That'll be the first tower down in between these two teams. But speaking of things going down, the split in from Reed on the glue, trying to find a kill there. Not going to be able to pick it up just yet. Now Jay from the XP laner of Dark Immortals with the Brave Fighter stance, but going to get caught out by the heavy spin, spun to the tower, trying to flicker out, but Yukino on last bit of damage, still going to find him. Reed in the background, going to take out Shadow Key. That's a marksman down from the side of Dark Immortals. A lot of DPS now out of play from them. Franco charging in the bush. Only going to find Ree, though, in there. Heavy magic ball now there, trying to keep them from escaping. But Ree, with the glue slam, the CC and the damage, is going to pick up the double kill. And the Dawning Light from Daizu almost taking out Valentina's. Huevo is going to steamroll their way through that fight. A 3-for-0 trade there in the favor of the Mama Eggs.
Absolutely, and that's what I was saying. When you're going for these fights and these objectives, have a plan behind it, have a response, use your composition. You know your team has these wildcard picks, but there is still a lot of utility on the side of Huevo, Daizu with the immobilizers, Ree as well on the glue with the immobilize as well, plus the slow. And we all know his ultimate is a very important and strong utility. And we saw it locking in to that Claude. Speaking of things being locked in, almost a little clash going on here in the bot lane, but both sides disengaging, testing the waters.
Potential for a fight though here now. Conceal got called out, but Jay already entering with the Brave Fighter stance. Raging Slash gonna find this Hanzo, but that's only the roam there. Is Yuki on damage with the Speedy Light Wheel's gonna find one, make that two members in that. A shutdown as well on the Valentina, looking for a third kill potentially. Does pick up the triple kill. That's three members down, slain by the hands of the gold laner Huevo. And now in the mid lane though, Ree potentially looking for more as the tower does get taken down though. Immortals does find a trade there, but at what cost? You lost three members for a mid lane there. And now the side of Huevo looking to trade that right back out, gonna find that tower. Shadow Key as well looking to find a tower, as Yukinon also found a tower. They're going down left and right. I don't know what we're playing right now. The teams trading out so well. Tower here, tower there, tower everyone. It's a charity event right now as both teams able to find these macro plays on the map.
Absolutely. We're playing Mobile Legends, but they're giving us a taste of tower to see right now. And I like to see this. Both teams having an answer for every trade that's being made on the map here. And even though Huevo was getting some shutdowns and kills in the early game, they never managed to really lose the goal lead that they had. Look at right now. They do have a 3K goal lead as it just went up, and they've always maintained that status, which is great. And it just shows that the power from carry in the goal lane, being able to get those solo kills on Claude to keep the Huevos up to par here. Speaking of,
we see the engage from the coup for Dawning Light coming out from the side of Huevo. Heavy spin on the return, but not going to find anything. Going to get taken out here potentially as the Blazing Duet comes in from Shadow Key. Yukinon, though, finding a monster kill there on the Carmilla. Brave Fighter stands, Raising Slash in from Jay. Going to find OnlyFans. And they keep finding the wrong, but not finding anyone important. As Daizu and Ree are now working on Jay. This XP laner, he's able to escape. Luckily, but that trade is in favor of Huevo, though. 2-for-1. Dawning Light coming out, almost going to make it 3. Alapu able to survive, but now Huevo shifting their focus and their attention over to this ever so important neutral objective, the first ward of the match. And if we take a look here over at the instant replay, we can see it now in between these two teams. The aggression, the back and forth trades. We can see Dark Immortals, though, able to find something here. They were able to take off this roam, and I said it in this previous fight, and it happened in this one. They found the roam, but at what cost? You leaving Yukin on there. The damage dealer is free as he was able to pick up the triple kill, and the story has been on repeat. The narrative has not changed. So they're going to have to find a new storyline if they want to beat Huevo in this King of the Hill match.
Speaking of things being picked up, we do see Dominance Eyes being picked up by both Jay as well as OnlyFans on the roam there. I want to take a look at some more of these items. As we've seen Daizu being able to dish out so much damage, picking up their 3 core items, the Clock of Destiny, Lightning Truncheon, and the Enchanted Talisman. They have the damage, they have the poke. We see the Dominance Eyes coming out from both teams on the sides, so they're going to cut down on the sustainability on both sides on an even up. Speaking of things being cut down in the process, Carry being able to take down the Claude, and a clash is happening in top lane.
As they're looking for more, Yukinon picking up a double kill, and now a third kill potentially on the way as Master of Beasts is going to find Carmilla. Ree going to find Jay. XP Laner going to take down the other one, but now the immobilization on the Kai going to get taken down by Daizu. Great immobilization and great follow-up by the team of Huevo. They have wiped out the side of Dark Immortals. They're pushing the top inhibitor. The passive has been popped. The minions are gone, but the will to win has not disappeared as Huevo pushes on, looking for the bot side inhibitor. Lord is on the way. The rest of the members patiently waiting to go ahead and end this game. Shadow Key in, but will it be enough to go ahead and stop this push? Blazing Duet is in, but no, the Nexus is falling. Huevo will take this match up against Dark Immortals.
Victory!
Absolutely. And that's a beautiful, beautiful game. played on the side of Huevo there. We see, looking at these items and statistics, Yukinon on that carry, getting MVP, and rightfully so, able to shut down Claude in the early game. And we do know that it is a laning phase where she does have the upper edge on him, but if they allowed him to get to that late game, it would have definitely been another story on the side of Huevo there. We see Daiso locking in the core items as well as Ree on this glue. Also, one of the most beneficial and major impacts on the game. So speaking of impact, even though OnlyFans is one of the most successful things right now, I don't really see the success in the pick on the side of Huevo, but the team was able to push the promotion and get it done. Speaking of things getting done, looking at the instant replay here, this is probably one of the fights that turned the game in the favors, as again, we saw Yukinon able to take down that Claude, securing the side of Huevo to push in this tower, secure more kills, take the tower, and wipe them. This fight is potentially what cost them the game here. Speaking of games, looking at the team fight participation on the side of Huevo, even though I did say that the comp doesn't really allow for much team fight success, they went ahead and they proved me wrong. Because who am I? I'm just a caster. What do I know, you know? So Huevo showing us Yuki with that 76% team fight participation, as well as Daizu right behind on that 71%. Looking at Shadowkey though, he did put in that work trying to push in them towers. We did see him being able to secure some trades across the map while Huevo was pushing in other aspects of the game. So beautiful game on the side of Huevo, and it was a great game to watch overall.
Definitely a great game indeed, but there can only be one king sitting on the throne, and that is Huevo. Mama's eggs are hot, and they are handing them out to everybody. Definitely an impressive ending as well. They were able to capitalize on that tower and then focus in on that Nexus to close it out, and that's what you want to see from these teams is synergy. So definitely seeing some major improvement from Huevo as we progress through the weeks in the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy. Speaking of progression, guys, appreciate everybody being here. For those who don't know, we are running King of the Hill. That is super simple. Rules are as follows. First come, first serve. Best of one. Winning team stays on every Monday and Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. We have seen Huevo kind of dominate. Not only dominate in the match that just went before our eyes, but also taking out the previous kings who showed up out of nowhere. Blacklist International, taking out a lot of vets, but Huevo, that top 32 team, too much to handle. And then to top it off, taking out Dark Immortals. And the question is, who can stop the fire that they're heating up? Like I said, guys, I appreciate y'all. Shout out to everybody casting today. Coach Deku, Rim, Eunice in the building as well. My name is Weezy, also your host for today. And I appreciate you guys joining us in the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy. Also, shout out to Huevo for closing it out with an amazing win. May not be the last game, though. Get some popcorn, get some drinks, and we'll be right back with you guys momentarily.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, honey bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
Now this is a wonder to behold.
Loved you from the first time you called me late. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah, always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah, with you the summer came and went in a day, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget, and I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget, yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah. When you're miles away, yeah, you can make it shine when the whole world rains. Always on my mind, always in my brain. With you the days are long and the nights are late, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Ooh, and I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. Forget anyway, yeah, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah, yeah.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Of course, honey bunch.
Papa never returned home. He's among the stars now. But what about me?
Have faith, little flare.
this is a wonder to behold.
Loved you from the first time you called me lame. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah, always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah, with you the summer came and went in a day, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. And I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget, and I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget, yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah. Woo! Being in when you're miles away, yeah. You can make it shine when the whole world rains. Always on my mind, always in my brain. With you the days are long and the nights are late, and I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Ooh, and I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. No, nothing's gonna make me forget, and I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah. No, never wanna forget. To forget anyway, yeah. No, nothing's gonna make me forget. Yeah, I don't think I want to forget anyway, yeah.
The sky is so vast, isn't it? My little flare.
Papa? Can you reach the sky and ignite the stars?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Land of the Dawn. We are the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, and today is Season 1, Week 4, Day 3. And we have a new King of the Hill in the presence. Huevo taking out Dark Immortals for their second win. Also not just Dark Immortals, but taking out Blacklist, the Americanized version. A team that showed up out of nowhere and was dominating a lot of these veteran teams in the MLSA. But like we said, this is King of the Hill, and there can only be one winner, as the rules are simple. It is first come, first serve. Best of one winning team stays on every Monday and Wednesday from 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And speaking of the matches today, we are going to be seeing Huevo holding on to that crown with 2 wins under their belt, going up against Ben 10. a little bit of a mixture between several members on multiple different teams trying to form the Avengers for North America. But the question is, can they handle Mama's eggs over there with Huevo?
Absolutely, and like you said, Ben 10, a collection of players trying to find a way to take down Huevo as they are the new king of the hill right now, finding the mark, being led by players like Daizu over there on that Xavier, and even the players like the XP. They have been finding success with with some of these unorthodox picks, but speaking of unorthodox, looks like they're going for a little more standard for picks, but a lot of high priority over there on the side of Ben 10 there. We're seeing Joy, Fredrin, and Valentina unlocked and slotted for this composition on their side as the bans have been finalized. And Weezy, what say you? What's the call here from Huevo to let all these picks through?
Well, I never thought I'd see it. A Joy kind of walking into the MLSA. This is the first time ever. And now we're going to find out exactly why people are banning Joy. This is going to go into the hands of Foop over there, an OTS member. And I'm really excited to see how it plays out. But if you kind of look at their composition, right, this isn't going to be that Joy jungle that we're kind of used to, but possibly a Joy in the XP lane. As you are seeing Faith lock in that retribution for the Fredrin, but maybe going to switch it last second as both of them are possible flex picks. But looking at the composition so far, I'm liking how Huevo is stacking up. They have that Minotaur with that Minoan and Fury to go in with that group CC. Yeah, Benedetta able to split push, create that opportunity for these neutral objectives. Speaking of split push and mobility, another hero doing it even better. Ling slotted as the jungler with Master of Bees. Able to use that Tempest of Blades comboed with that Retribution to secure these neutral objectives such as the Lord and the Turtles. And also that Assassin who can go into the backline. But speaking of backline, looking at the side of Ben 10, they have Valentina in their favor. Valentina, one of those heroes who can use any ultimate at their disposal, so you have to be careful on what you draft. And already I'm seeing some very good ultimates into the hands of Lubellion over there, as you have that Minotaur, like we said, that group CC now could be slotted in for Valentina. Also looking at a possible Tempest of Blaze to kind of get out if things get tricky. Maybe Electo from Benedetta might not be the worst, but I think if I was Valentina, right, I'm definitely going to go for that Minoan Fury. That is a group CC that can help you guys push these turrets and also push these neutral objectives. But speaking of pushes, both sides finally locked in to finalize the draft for the last match of the day. And the question is, who will prevail? Huevo holding on to that crown, or Ben 10, the new super team, the North American Avengers?
Definitely. And I mean, looking at these compositions, a lot of powerful picks put into the hands of Ben 10, but we know Huevo, they're not afraid to match up against this. Didn't even try to go for any of these picks. Their most priority pick there being on that Benedetta and that Ling as well, but they're very comfortable with playing in their comfort, playing within their own meta, their own range, and that's what kind of makes Huevo dangerous. They'll let you take those meta picks because they're confident in their own pull and their ability to go ahead and counter out what you will go ahead and bring in to any match, no matter what the slotted meta picks you may have taken. And right now, we're already seeing them pick up and apply pressure with on this Benedetta.
Already going to go ahead and cut these minions, a little bit of proxy in its finest form. And speaking of meta, we are looking at Foop locking in this Joy. This is an XP lane Joy, and I'm wondering how this is going to play out. Yeah, Joy has the mobility, but does Joy have the ability to kind of clear those minions as fast as a Benedetta can? Time will tell, but already at a good start. A little bit of a possible contest into the jungle of the side of Ben 10, but deciding to disengage.
Is disengaging. They've already had a successful invade. I do believe Ling picked up that small side creep, and now they have also picked up the Litho, a great two-man knock up there coming out from that minnow over there in the river. But we are seeing Joy Foop preparing potentially to go for a little bit of another invade, a little bit of response, and applying pressure to Master Bees on this Ling here.
Ooh, a little bit of pressure over there with that Joy, kind of harassing the buff, forcing Ling to use that mobility onto the wall, which will put him at a little bit of a cooldown unless he gets the Tempest of Blades. But in the process, Foop, a wise decision, is going to go ahead and proxy these minions, kind of a mirror matchup with that Benedetta right now. And now you're seeing that mobility and the clearance of minions is definitely a very good utility on the side of Ben 10, locking in that Joy. But speaking of lock-ins, we do have a marksman down in the bottom lane, 1804, on a comfort pick using that Irithel, but he is stacked up against Yukinon with this Brody.
And it'll be interesting to see because that is also a comfort over here for Yukinon. But speaking of comfort, OnlyFans being put in an uncomfortable position as he is forced to use that flicker out nice and early from the pressure from Ben 10 in that river. And now a potential engage.
You see Electa going in from Marie, trying to do some damage, but not able to hit the mark. And that is a lot of utility wasted prior to this turtle. But like we said, both of these teams kind of fighting for that level 4 to have that slight advantage on this objective. Ling already getting that blue buff. Is going to go ahead and rush in and start on this objective. But Lubellion on the Valentina having other plans. Level 4 as well. Definitely going to have to snatch up that Minoan Fury from Minotaur. But that is going to be 2 group CCs in effect. Minotaur and also Valentina. And there we go. Going to go ahead and use that IMU. Grabbed Minotaur's ultimate. And now the question is, when do you go in and capitalize on it? As you are seeing tips of blades go down. Faith able to get the retribution just in time, though. Over retrying the Ling. Speaking of the battle, though, Daizu getting a kill onto Lubellion. Down goes the Valentina. Not even able to use that Minoan Fury at her disposal. And man, oh man. Yeah, they lost Turtle, but they took a kill in the process. Question is, how many do they take? As you are seeing Ree on the over aggressive play, takes out Foop on that Joy, and that is 2 kills into the hands of Huevo, but they did lose Turtle to the side of Ben 10.
Absolutely, and a great play and a great call from that Cho, right? To be able to go land that G-Con on Ling to provide Faith the opportunity to steal that retry, but like you said, also giving up 2 kills in the meantime. So while it wasn't the smoothest trade, a trade nonetheless, it could have been a turtle on 2 kills going to the favor of Huevo, but Ben 10 able to find an answer. Speaking of finding answers, though, a little bit of early damage coming in from the side of Huevo as well. We've seen Reed pick up that kill, and that you can attribute that to that Fury Hammer, that early penetration, able to go ahead and break down the lower defensive values from Ben 10 since we are in the early stages of the game still. That's also been picked up by Yukinon on this Brody, who has the Fury Hammer and is now getting those leading stores to get that Blade of Despair. Speaking of Despair in the bot side, good night on this Cho. Almost got put to sleep there in that ambush, and we are seeing another clash.
Tips of blades going down, but Lubellion able to knock up OnlyFans, able to secure that kill. What a play! And that is that Mage taken down, now having a hard time getting online. 0, 2, and 0. Definitely needing to be a little bit safer. Grab that Minotaur's ultimate and get these sets for your team. Don't be overly aggressive and just play your part in terms of the ultimates that you're able to take. But speaking of playing your part, you are seeing Yukinon stripping down this tower on the bottom side with the full team, or 4-man of Huevo to defend him, and down goes the tower. But wait a minute, a little bit of a clash going in. He was not able to do that additional damage to take it down. Yukinon getting a kill onto Lubellion, a little bit of torn apart memories activated by that Brody, but look at the minions trying to close in. You are seeing OnlyFans, Daizu, Yukinon, and Master of Bees trying to join this fight against Good Night, 1804, and Faith. Question is, who will prevail? Master of Bees rushing in and taking down that turret, and now you are seeing the side of Huevo, or Ben 10 kind of retreat from that clash, but on the top side, Ree able to outdo Foop on the XP lane. Is going to go ahead and get a kill on that Joy. Now 0, 2, and 0 as well, and we're kind of scratching our heads on these picks, right? You have one of the most meta picks, supposedly meta, always banned, but going 0, 2, and 0 on it right now, especially against Ree on this Benedetta, is not where you want to be. You are seeing the Valentina 0, 3, and 0. Definitely a hard time indeed.
Absolutely. They have the meta, but do they have the mastery on these picks? And it's starting to look like they might not have it. Maybe their eyes a little too big for their stomach. They've seen the opportunity, but they don't have the foundation, the groundwork to make these picks work right now in Huevo. Obviously sitting on some comforts here and knowing their ability and knowing their limits in these fights, picking apart Ben 10 as they are looking to potentially as well shift more focus up to this top side. Yukinon already trading sides. They've already got clear of that bot lane tower. Now Good Night over here trying to assist 1804, but the gank inbound.
You see a possible clash on the way as they are trying to take another tower, this time on the opposing side of the map into the hands of Huevo. Minoan Fury going in for a quad set. Tips of blades going down. Yukinon able to get a kill onto Lubellion, picking up that Blade of Despair in the process. Man, oh man, have they proxied this lane? Yes, they have. They are going to go ahead and push in that tower, and it goes into the hands of Huevo, just dominating on the map right now, taking out the Avengers with no problem. Now 6 kills in the lead to 0 on the side of Ben 10. Speaking of fight, though, you are seeing a little bit of Electo going in. Get a kill onto 1804, even a Petrify to combo with it, and now trying to escape on that over-engagement and able to get out, even on that Cho with the way of the Dragon possibly at his disposal. But speaking of his disposal, you are seeing Joy taking advantage of the separation. Go ahead and push in this bottom tower.
Definitely pushing in this bot tower, but Huevo quick to mobilize and react to this rotation from the side of OTS. Not going to be able to go ahead and capitalize on the kill, but speaking of capitalize, let's take a moment to look at some of these items. Benedetta already picked up that Bloodlust X, has gotten plenty of kills, and now we'll have the sustain to back up and support in these prolonged team fights. Blade of Despair from Yukino, going to make those torn apart memories, turn the members of Ben 10 into nothing but memories when the ultimate does connect. Ice Queen Wand utility, speaking of utility here in the jungle.
Seeing a clash going down, Tips of Blades popping down as well, but down goes Faith in the process. That is 5 members to 4. Definitely an advantage leaning into the side of Huevo. Electa going down by Benedetta. 1804 jumping across the wall, trying to stay safe with the mobility of that Earth, though. But speaking of mobility, you do see Brody rushing in, trying to get a possible torn apart memories. Yes, it does go down, but not enough damage to take out Goodnight on this Cho. But wait a minute. You are seeing that Syrian turret possibly go in from Daizu to push back 1804 and Lubellion on this Valentina. But while this is happening, turrets are dropping left and right for the side of Ben 10 right now. If you look at the top lane, they have lost everything minus their inhibitor already, and we are only 8 minutes in.
8 minutes in, Huevo up 8-0, an unstoppable force right now. Ben 10 not on the scoreboard at all, and no towers taken down as well. Like you said, down to the inhibitors and haven't found anything in way of response up against Huevo right now, who is clearly looking to shut out this game early and destroy the Avengers team that was called for this Avengers level threat that is Huevo, and not looking to be taken down by Ben 10 here. Not enough forms in the Omnitrix to be able to deal with them. Not enough in the utility, not enough in the kit to deal with the members of Huevo, as they are basically steamrolling and taking all the economy from Ben 10. Now looking to force into the jungle potentially. They are posturing around for this river. Might catch out Faith on the Fredrin. He is able to narrowly escape, but will they escape the defeat? Time will tell, as Huevo is closing in the victory in their grasp. All this takes now is macro. They're up 7k gold, like we said, 8-0, and we just barely about to reach the 9-minute mark of 1804, potentially getting picked off here.
Okay, with the Petrify and the Electo, and able to close out on that kill. A beautiful synergy of combinations for those skills, and man, oh man, that assassin rushing in and taking out that backline, getting to that marksman, definitely playing that role down to a T. But speaking of a T, Foop trying to do some damage, able to take that mid lane turret in the process and use the mobility of Joy to try and get out. But you are seeing Master of Beast trying to rush in and do some damage, but not able to hit the mark, and away goes Joy.
Away goes Joy, but not the pain. Huevo still inflicting their will, the force of 5 members with an objective in mind, looking to win this match. Foop in the bot side, trading around with Benedetta, but little does he know the rotation potentially coming in from Huevo. No, they're going to shift their focus. Overlord coming in soon, and probably going to go for this invade. They do find it, and now OnlyFans leading the way, looking to make a video happen.
We do see a possible Tips of Blades on the way, or a torn apart memory from that Brody, but looks like both teams deciding to disengage as Lord does spawn in. And right now, Huevo definitely having the presence, having the items, having the gold, and the real estate on the map to push this objective. And it looks like the side of Ben 10 realizing they are on a uphill battle and they cannot take this fight. But speaking about what you can take, Foop creating some opportunity for the team is going to go ahead and do a split push on these minions, while the side of Ben 10 is going to try and take a tower in that process. But down goes the Lord to the side of Huevo.
Yeah, and to their credit, like you said, trying to find anything right now. Foop was able to find a mid tower, now looking for the bot, but speaking of people being found right now.
Some Blaze popping down. Who will get the kill as Daizu is on the run? Foop on the chase over there with the Joy, and my goodness, able to burst down that Valir with the swiftness, but now caught with a little bit of a stun by Yukinon on that Brody. He is going to quickly try and burst him down. Able to get all 4 stacks using the torn apart memories, but unable to secure the kill. Minoan Fury going out by OnlyFans over there with the 4-man set. Appraiser's Wrath over there by Faith on this Fredrin, but Master of B rushing in with the Assassin Ling and takes down Fredrin. But wait a minute, OnlyFans gonna kill onto Foop, and that is 3 members on the side of Huevo to 3 members on the side of Ben 10, who will prevail, as you are seeing 1804 rush on the retreat. You do see Ree with the Petrify, the Electo going in onto Lubellion, but a little bit of a stun on Goodnight as well with the Eye for an Eye, and right now Ree is on fire. Speaking of Eye for an Eye, Tips of Blades going down, creating a little bit of opportunity for the side of Huevo as they're maintaining pressure on the mid lane, and they are going to go for this inner turret. Not only the inner turret, but also for an inhibitor as Lord is crashing in on the top lane.
Definitely 11 minutes into the game, and Huevo's looking like they potentially have this in the bag. We've seen a little bit of fight back from Ben 10. Ooh, Eye for an Eye there, catching the stun on Goodnight there. Like you said, Ree on fire here, and so is the rest of his company, the rest of his friends here on Huevo. The Mama Eggs boiling and steamrolling up against Ben 10 right now. They're going to have to find a way to dig out of this hole that they have put themselves in, currently down 8K, and also down in the items category. We see full build coming in from Ree on this Benedetta. Speaking of full build, the full assault from Huevo here. On the push, a kill picked up by Ree on the Benedetta. Gonna find Goodnight. That's a roamer down for the side of Ben 10 ahead of this Lord spawning in less than a minute. The waves obviously in the favor of Huevo. They are keeping the pressure up, the management intact for them. Like we said, the macro, they're currently keeping them frozen in that neutral state, making Ben 10 have to overextend. They want farm, and Ben 10 not even looking to take the risk as they are hugging those towers dearly for life right now. Prolific Roar getting picked up by Yukinon right there off the screen is going to have some of that percent pin. So the defense, the little bit of defense that Ben 10 has currently, we did look at those items. They are very far behind up against Huevo. The little they do have won't mean much now that that percent pin has been locked in. Speaking of pin, though, we do have some pin as well coming in, potentially from the side of Ben 10. Irithel, needing to lock that in as soon as possible up against this Minotaur, up against even Bruno and Benedetta. Speaking of locked in, though,
you are seeing Yukinon stack up and able to use the torn apart memories on to Faith for the Fredrin. Down goes the jungler with 10 seconds on the board for this Lord push.
Definitely not what you want to see. A jungler down. You already weren't in favorable conditions to contest this enhanced Lord, but now the chances are pretty much slim to nearly impossible now that your Retri is out of play. And Huevo, knowing this, going to make quick work of the blue buff before they shift their attention over to the Lord. Potentially, maybe. We are seeing Master of Beast push down that wave, but he can really go for that, right? That's what Link can kind of offer you, that cross-map ability, can start that split push, can start that wave, and then transfer right over to the Lord. And that's exactly what they're going to do, is Floop has to respond to that, as the rest of the members of Ben 10 have to respond to that top wave. They're making quick work of this Lord, uncontested, not going to be able to step out. Will Ben 10 be able? Absolutely not. Is now Huevo looking to make their press, the final push potentially. They've already taken out one inhibitor. They now only have to deal with 2 inhibitors, and with that enhanced Lord coming down with the full force, the full line, the full roster of Mama Huevo, Ben 10, and I have to put up an extraordinary fight. And I don't know if they have the pieces to get it done. You don't have a high ground mage. You don't have anyone that really has the long range capability to be able to deal with Huevo, or even offer in some poke or fast clear to this Lord. You know, you have a lot of melee options, and that's playing right into the hands of OnlyFans, who has made a couple highlight reels and put a couple people up on those posts for that subscription service there for the side of Huevo. Ben 10, definitely an uncomfortable position. Lord charging down on the top side now. 3 members huddling around. Ling pushing down that bots, the mid side. Benedetta joining him in with the mobility. Huevo looking to close in now. The Electro Flash has came in.
You are seeing Yukinon on the push, but wait a minute, Electa going in, stolen by Valentina. Daisy getting a kill onto Faith in the process. Lord crashing into the Nexus, but members are dropping left and right. Lebanon getting a kill on to Brody. Fight not over though, as Lord does get bursted down. Triple kill by Daisy, taking out 1804. But wait a minute, you still have Master of Bees, you have OnlyFans, Ree, and Daisy still in position to take out Lubellion and Foop. Master Beast taking an inhibitor turret in the process. Foop trying to defend. Lubellion rushing in, but can they stop them from pushing the Nexus? You do see that Electa going in to kind of clear the minions. And ladies and gentlemen, Huevo has taken the game.
Taking the game and taking the heart, soul, and life away from Ben 10. Not going to get it done, not even with the power of the Omnitrix to deal with the dynamic drafting of Huevo. Huevo going to close out the King of the Hill victorious and not taking a loss, as we are going to wrap up King of the Hill tonight. What a showcasing from all of these teams, Weezy.
Yeah, definitely a showcasing indeed. Last minute, Huevo able to take out the North American Avengers with a swift finish, a fast game indeed, and that goes to show with synergy, anything is possible. Ben 10, kind of a combination of a lot of players, probably really good players as well, but this goes to show you have to play with those players on a regular and form that synergy to win these games, especially up against a top 32 team from North America. So Good game over to Huevo. Appreciate everybody tuning in today as well. Shout out to all the casters on the desk today. Coach Deku, Rim, and also Eunice with that special appearance. My name is Weezy. I've been your host today, and it's been a pleasure. Today was King of the Hill. The rules were simple. First come, first serve, best of one. Winning team stays on every Monday and Wednesday from 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, tomorrow is another day, though. We are going to be moving on to day 4 for this week. And it is going to be a bunch of series of threes between a lot of these teams that you've seen compete today. So definitely tune in, as we'll be going live at the same time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, to kind of watch these teams clash it out and prepare for NA MPLs. That is a whole focus for us on the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, to get teams ready for NA MPL. If you're a solo player out there and you're looking for a team, definitely sign up and join us on the Scrim Academy, as we have that service available for you guys to make a post with all of your stats. Speaking of stats, if you have a team already, definitely register them and start competing against some of these top teams you've seen today. A lot of these teams newly on the board. Speaking of newly on the board, Blacklist International, one of the ones who almost took 4 wins in a row to tie Nefarious for that 4 wins in a row. But the highest was definitely Ackerman, and a good feat on their side. But like we said, it doesn't stop here. The whole purpose of this is to get ready, prepare your teams for upcoming events in 2023 for MLBB. Join us on Discord server. That's the only way you guys can register, as we have an official Mobile Legends Scrim Academy server with a bunch of amenities that you guys can use at your disposal. As always, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for spending your days with us. Happy holidays if we don't see you going forward, as we are closing into Christmas and also New Year's. As always, we are the Mobile Legends Scrim Academy, and we appreciate you guys being here, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace!